Right now on NBC 10 News, mass shooting on South Street, 14 people shot, 3 killed in a burst of bullets that sent crowds of people running for their lives. Thanks for watching this special streaming edition of NBC 10 News. I'm Rosemary Connors. The shooting happened as hundreds were enjoying Saturday night in one of Philadelphia's most popular destinations. But when the gunfire erupted around 11:30, they scrambled for cover and 2 innocent bystanders lost their lives. Law enforcement sources tell NBC 10 this video is key evidence in the investigation. You can see the man in the white shirt pulls a gun as a fight breaks out with 2 others on South Street between 2nd and 3rd. Then you hear gunfire. The person taking the cell phone video gets down. Sources tell us the man in the white shirt is dead, one of the 3 people killed last night. According to police, after the bullets began flying, an officer on patrol fired and struck one of the shooters. The gunman dropped his weapon and ran away. It's unclear exactly how many people were involved, but police believe at least 5 different guns were used. The police commissioner described the chaos as devastating.
Yesterday was a dark day for Philadelphia. And while many of us were out enjoying the beautiful day in the city, a horrendous and unthinkable acts happened in a very popular local and tourist hangout.
We have team coverage tonight. NBC 10's Brian Sheehan is at Girard College in Francisville. That's where one of the victims worked. But let's start with NBC 10's Karen Hua. She's on South Street. And Karen, you spoke to neighbors who tell you they are disturbed and fed up.
Yeah, that's right, Rosemary. When you think of this part of South Street, you probably think of busy bars, restaurants, and clubs. And yes, that is the case often on Saturday nights, but this part is also a vibrant residential area. Families live here, and they say they're usually used to loud noise, but the residents we spoke to say that they have not seen anything or heard anything like the deadly mass shooting last night.
This hits home. This is where we live every day. And you have to be able to send your kids to school. You got to be able to walk down South Street without having your life in your hands.
It started as a normal busy night on South Street until this.
We're going to need everybody. We got multiple victims. We got hundreds of people.
Police say 2 men got into a fight, then started shooting at each other and into the crowd. 14 people shot, 3 killed. Of the dead, 1 of the shooters and 2 innocent bystanders, according to police. Officials also tell us an officer fired at one of the shooters, causing the shooter to drop his gun and run away. Police believe the officer's bullet hit the man. In this witness video, you hear at least a dozen bangs, then the crowd screaming and running.
All of a sudden, we just see this mass of people run down 4th Street heading north. And looking at them, it looked like a bunch of teenagers.
Kayla Harnish, who lives on South Street, witnessed the chaos firsthand. She and other nearby residents say police are almost always patrolling South Street on weekend nights, yet this still happened.
They're always right here. They're always a presence, but I think it's just going beyond what I guess our traditional police methods can do.
What happened last night was an atrocity. But it's not something that we see all the time. And again, I don't want us to normalize this. This is not something that's normal in the city of Philadelphia.
Police are still looking into the exact motive. Officials say at least 5 guns were involved, one of which had a high-capacity magazine.
Furious. I am furious, not just for my neighborhood, for the whole country. If I hear one more time, thoughts and prayers.
The Philadelphia Police Commissioner saying they'll immediately provide more patrols on South Street. But some wonder if this is the time for stricter gun control laws.
Maybe with all this stuff in the past couple of months, maybe this is the turning point. I hope it is.
Now, as of this hour, police say they're still looking for these gunmen. According to the National Gun Violence Archive, this marks 245 mass shootings so far this year. That's more than there have been days this year. Live on South Street, Karen Hua, NBC 10 News.
And I'm sure that sentiment of something must change is coming from many who are on South Street there. Thank you for that, Karen. Appreciate it. Of the 3 people killed, 2 were innocent bystanders, and we're learning more about those innocent bystanders. One was 27-year-old Alexis Quinn. The other was Chris Minners. He worked with second graders at Girard College. NBC 10's Brian Sheehan is live there for us. And Brian, those who knew him say students lost a good role model. Tell us more.
They certainly did, Rosemary. There are likely a lot of heartbroken children tonight. We learned that Chris Minners worked here at Girard College. He was a second grade boys resident advisor. Minners is one of 3 people killed last night. 11 others were shot but survived, including Rusty Crow. He was on South Street to see a friend perform at Dobbs on South. He says he stepped outside, heard the commotion, and then the gunshots. He looked down and saw he had been shot in his left leg. Crowell's a nurse, and so he tried helping the other victims, including one who was unresponsive.
4 or 5 cops went, grabbed him by the extremities, and just threw him in the back seat of a car, and they just took off. And I suspect he may have been one of the fatalities. So, and he was 2 feet away from me. So, could have very easily been me.
Yeah, tonight he says he is still processing what happened to him, but he is just lucky to be alive. Of course, we will have more with our interview with Rusty coming up tonight on NBC 10 News at 11 o'clock. But for now, live in Francisville, I'm Brian Sheehan, NBC 10 News. Rosemary.
Brian, thank you for telling those sides of this story. Appreciate it. Now, when asked about increased police presence on the streets, Philadelphia Police Commissioner Danielle Outlaw said, "We are doing what we can, and we did what we could yesterday. We're going to add, on top of that, beginning tonight, bolstering the details that we already have in that area, not just in South Street, South Philadelphia, but in Penn's Landing as well." Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney, who is at a conference out of town, shared these words today about the mass shooting. In a statement, he said, in part, "The events that transpired last evening on South Street are beyond devastating. Once again, we see lives senselessly lost and those injured in yet another horrendous, brazen, and despicable act of gun violence. My heart is with the family, friends, loved ones of those lost or injured, and with everyone impacted by this terrible tragedy. Until we address the availability and ease of access to firearms, we will always be fighting an uphill battle. As mayor, I will continue to fight to protect our communities and urge others to advocate for stronger laws that keep guns out of the hands of violent individuals." Reaction is also pouring in from the business community. Here's part of a statement from the South Street Head House District. It says, "This is heartbreaking, senseless, and does not reflect the community of businesses, residents, and visitors that walk our streets every day. Unfortunately, this epidemic is much larger than us. And we are now at the point where we must demand changes to address the impacts of gun violence on our community. As our community heals, we will continue to provide communication and support and proactively advocate for change." That concludes our special streaming edition of NBC 10 News at 6. I'm Rosemary Connors. We are going to continue to follow this mass
Welcome for those who are in the building. I'd like to welcome the Linus, who is going to be with me as we talk about this Philly mass shooting. I want to thank Lorraine for bringing some info to me today that really sparked this live. It's a lot of things that me and John Q have talked about in the background, because we study these type of situations that we're going through in America today. And some things are just not what they seem at the surface. You see some things, and you're like, well, that's what happened. Or you say, well, they shouldn't have did this. It's another mass shooting. Nah. You have to understand what that lady just stated. And excuse me if I get the number wrong, but I'm pretty sure she said 245 mass shootings this year. That's more days than we had this year. Can you imagine that? Like, what's your thoughts on the current mass shootings that we've been dealing with this year?
it's a manifestation of the chaos. Manifestation. And peace and blessings, everybody, whoever's out there, whoever's listening.
What's up, Ms. Harris? Ms. Harris in the
It's a
building.
manifestation of the chaos, and it's gonna get worse before it gets any better because people are afraid. And my one of my daughters lives in Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. She called me today, and the first thing I said is, "Girl, are you guys all right?" She said, "No." I said, when they showed the footage of the three brothers fighting in front of the store, and two of them going one way and the third one going the other, that's in Philadelphia? He said, yes, yes. And she said, Mama, guess what? She said, the police are the ones that started shooting at the crowd. When you look at the footage, those look like black teenagers running with their cell phones and everything. And then the people that were interviewed were white, elderly white people. They wasn't running from no bullets. She said the police came around there and just started shooting into the crowd. Now, first of all, she has no reason to lie. Secondly, I saw that thing going around and I lost my train of thought. Secondly, the people that were there are the ones that are talking about it. They're the ones that are telling it. They were running from the bullets. They saw who was shooting the guns. And so to me, it's part of the manifestation of what can go wrong. They want to get guns out of the hands of black people so they can keep controlling and ruling. That's my opinion now. But like I said, something was wrong with that. They had the three brothers in front of the store fighting. So where did all the other weaponry come from? How all these people get shot up?
That's the question. And I got it playing on the screen right now.
Yes.
We do see the young man pull out his gun, but we never see him use it, all right? And, of course, when the gunfire starts, let me pause this. Of course, whoever was filming this, shit, they damn near dropped their phone and got the hell out of Dodge. But
yes,
you hear several gunshots. Not one, which we know this one man has a gun. And at this point, I can't say the guy that they approach in the black t-shirt pulled out a gun. That would be stupid on his behalf because that dude in the white shirt already got his gun out. So as soon as you pull yours, he gonna bust you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that gunshot did not come from him. Now I can't remember, and you might have heard this in that news article. Did they say the guy in the black shirt, did he get shot? I believe they did.
Well, from the footage that I saw, he had a gun, and he appeared to be hurt. But the one in the white t-shirt was the one that was supposed to have been shot and killed.
Right. The guy in
So
the white
it's
t-shirt
like
got shot
it
and killed. Right.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Well, so who shot him?
The police.
We saw one.
Police.
Yep. So all these people that aren't being interviewed are talking about it. They're telling it. You know how information goes through the hood. Talk about the grapevine.
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. So I mean, and just like you said your daughter, correct?
Yes.
Your daughter won't. Yeah, she has no reason to lie. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people will say, "Oh, they just lie. They just trying to, you know, start up some black against whites or the world against the police." Nah, that ain't what we do. You know what I'm saying? We want to live peace and harmony just like everybody else do. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we have our own issues amongst our own people, just like we see right here in this footage. But the way that this story is being presented, something ain't right. So what I want to do, I'm gonna let this play out, and I'm gonna take it off slow mo, and I'm gonna put the volume back on so you can hear as it played out. Now, pay attention to what you see in front of you, because of course, when the gunshots start, it's gonna you're not gonna see what you want to see. So you got to make an assumption at that point. So let's go.
They scrambled for cover, and 2 innocent bystanders lost their lives. Law enforcement sources tell NBC 10 this video is key evidence in the investigation. You can see the man in the white shirt pulls a gun as a fight breaks out with 2 others on South Street between 2nd and 3rd. Then you hear gunfire. You hear gunfire.
Right there was the first gunshot. That gunshot did not come from either one of them. I'm gonna go back again.
Then you hear gunfire.
Now I know what that umbrella obstructed the vision of the guy in the white T-shirt. True. Let's go back a couple of frames prior to him doing that. I didn't see him pull his gun or reach his gun. Point his gun, I should say. Now we do see the guy in the black T-shirt start to fall, but he's wrestling with the other guy, right? Am I correct on that?
Okay. Yes.
Ms. Shay Love said, unfortunately, this is the new normal. In times of here, we definitely know it's definitely coming to the end of our days, because what we're seeing compared to what we read in the Bible. Ms. Harris say, what I don't understand, if there are 3 fighting, why would everyone pull out guns, either 2 on 1 or 1 on 1, and the other stands there? I agree with you on that. But the question is, listen to all those gunshots. That did not come from them 2 people. So that lets you know either there was some rival gang members somewhere out of the footage, or there was police there. And what we do know to be facts, there was at least 70 police officers in the vicinity of this little gathering in Philadelphia, already on the scene. So you tell me, now, the dude did have the balls to pull out a gun at that time. I don't know if they was actually on that street where it was visible, but they were in the vicinity, right? He pulled out his gun. I really don't think he had no plans on using it, because you pull out a gun and you hold it in your hand. What you pulled it out for? It don't make sense. It don't make sense. We're going to watch it again, but it just so slow. Sadea, how you doing? You said it's a staged event. And you know what? That's another thing I want to touch on later on. There's a lot of these situations or shootings that we're starting to see. The people that live in the area don't believe either what the media is putting out there or what law enforcement said happened. That's a problem. Either they're conspiracy theorists, or it's a simple fact that they seen what happened and they know they bullshit. You feel what I'm saying? That's just like me telling y'all exactly what happened here in Brunswick, Georgia, when Ahmaud got shot. I know that boy go jogging all the time. I know he never bothered nobody. People can say, oh, he was in there breaking. No, the hell he wasn't. I know he wasn't. You gonna tell me? I live here. I know this guy. That was my neighbor 2 doors down. It's like her daughter lives there in Philly. Why would she lie? If you know me, I always side on what's right. I can't speak for everybody, but that's just who I am. Take a look again. What's going on? Perfect Pure TM in the building. What's going on? Back it up one more time.
2 others on South Street between 2nd and 3rd. Then you hear gunfire.
Now we see a little bit of his white t-shirt. If he's pointing the gun, you'll see his arm up along with that t-shirt. He didn't fire that gun. He didn't fire that gun. I put money on it. All those shots, you think that came from that little handgun? Fuck no. Fuck no. No, it did not. Ms. Harris says, is this a parade? It's daylight. What I seen look like night. Now this is at nighttime. This is something that they do, I'm assuming, in Philly. I mean, I don't know if you can speak on that, Lorraine, because I know your daughter lived there. She might could explain that better than I could.
Well, one of the men was talking about how the place was always packed like that, you know, certain times, you know, and I assume it was teenagers. I've been to Philly one time, and that was in December, so it was too cold, you know, for them to be out there like that. But it would be just like any big city. Like, okay, everybody would end up going to the zoo in New York or Central Park in New York. You know, certain locations and spots. You know, where certain groups, you know, they might be divided by age groups or something. You know, meet like that. So, from what I heard, I assume, you know, that's what that gathering was. But like I said, the people that I saw running for their lives looked like black teenagers, you know, black people. I didn't see. I wasn't really looking for any particular type of person, any particular color, but I can't recall seeing any white people running. But those were the only ones that were interviewed.
Well, we're finna watch this next footage, which comes from a camera. I don't know if it was from a business or this is just one of those cameras they put up on the light poles. I don't know. What's going on, Bams? Appreciate you for sliding through. But this footage right here, and my question is, this footage that we're finna watch, how is this happening at the same time those gunshots happened? Or did it happen a little bit later? Because the street that those 3 people was on, that motherfucker looked damn near empty. Let's take a look at this footage right here. Now, I'm gonna pause this. Watch where they're running from and running to. That's important. They didn't run from that direction to this direction for no reason. So to me, that tells me that shooting came from the top of the screen. Would you agree?
Let's
go back.
Yep.
See the direction they run
or across
from,
the street.
Or from our left. I don't know, but this is an assumption. Now, what I tried to do is I tried to actually look to see if I can see flashes of gunfire. There's so many lights up in the area, I didn't see any. Let's try it again. And they don't have any volume on this one. So I believe this is a street camera, a business camera. Now.
And nobody came from the left. So those brothers may have been right around the corner. They weren't.
So we know, I'm assuming at the time of the gunfire, they hit the guy in the white t-shirt who had the gun. That's just an assumption. if he didn't fire his weapon at the guy in the black that they jumped on, I'm assuming the gunfire that came from, you know who I feel like it came from, they hit him. You know what I'm saying? Not intentionally, but maybe intentionally. Who knows? That's why I feel like he wasn't killed, because I think they were really trying to shoot at the guy in the white shirt who had the gun in his hand. Now, you said you seen footage where the guy in the black had a gun. You know where I can find that at?
Yes.
You possibly got a link?
Yes.
If anybody here got a link, I appreciate if you drop that in the chat, because I want to see where the guy in the black had a gun in his hand. When did he have time to pull a gun? Because what we saw was they jumped on him and gunfire started. When did he have time to pull a gun?
Well, when he had one as he was dragging his body across the. He was on the street, and he kept trying to move, and it's like he laid the gun down, and he went down. So I was thinking that he was the one that died, but he supposedly told the police that he pulled his gun in self-defense. So, who do you believe? And if he's still alive, where's he at?
Now,
What has he told them to make this make sense?
Well, they said at least 5 guns were fired, and they got 2 of them. And I'm assuming one came from the guy in the white shirt, and the other one from the guy in the black shirt. I'm assuming, they got that gun. I don't know if they talked to him, but of course they can't talk to the guy in the white shirt because he's dead. But there was a third person there that helped jump on him. I'm assuming maybe that's the guy they're looking for. That's my assumption. I don't know why they would be looking for the guy in the black, because he was the one being attacked. You know what I'm saying? And unless he pulled out his gun and started shooting it, which we don't have any footage of that. What up, Crucial K?
No.
Check out the comments real quick.
No.
Ms. Harris say, didn't 2 get away? We gonna look at some more news footage and see if we can get the answer to that, Ms. Harris. Because I just been really focusing on this footage to see if I can see something that just maybe missed. And there's so many people out here. Now, watch at the end when they all scatter. Let's see, like, coming from the top of the screen, do you think that's the guy in the black that ran from that direction? Let's take a look. There's one person lagging all the way back there by that wall. Let's see if that. Nah, he started walking. When he got towards the end, he started walking. Go ahead.
After the fight, didn't two of the guys run away together? The one in the white shirt and the one that got killed. The one in the black shirt was in the street. Then the other 2 ran in the other direction. So when did the guy in the white shirt get shot? I think they were around the corner. There was nobody on the empty street to the left, and so they were joining the crowd to the left. See, there's nobody there. I think they were around the corner, and all they had to do was go right, and that's where everybody was running from.
Video is key.
Okay, there's. Okay, it was a green shirt and a white shirt and a black shirt.
And there are people a little bit let's go back a little bit. There's people over there too that ain't too far from them. See over there in the corner right there? You see a little bit up from where they at? If you look up, there are people standing right there. That's why I feel like when we was watching where everybody scattered from, maybe this is where they were running from. Because if you look up there in the top, there's somebody in black with a black shirt, black pants. And I'm gonna go back to the other footage in just a second. We actually see somebody with that same clothing on that came from I'm assuming this direction, but we'll watch it again.
Okay.
There.
The person taking the cell phone video gets down. Sources tell us the man in the white shirt is dead, one of the 3 people killed last night. According to police, after the bullets began flying, an officer on patrol fired.
All right, so we see where they got it roped off at. I'm assuming this is where the shooting occurred at. Now, 3 people died. 1 is the guy who had the weapon in his hand. So, I guess the guy in the black got shot, but he didn't die. And they still looking for the other guy.
Yeah.
So obviously he didn't die. So there's 2 other people that died that shouldn't die, and they did state innocent bystanders. If those people were way back where we just saw the shooting occurred, where they ran from, where was the police shooting from? That's the question. Where were they at? Were they behind the guy in the white shirt shooting from that direction? Because it only makes sense because that's what people was running from. And again, that's my assumption where they was running from.
Fired and struck one of the shooters. The gunman dropped his weapon and ran away. It's unclear exactly how many people were involved, but police believe at least 5 different guns were used. The police commissioner described the chaos as devastating.
Yesterday was
5 different guns were involved. They got 2 of them. I guarantee you they'll never find the other 3. You know why? Because they came from them. What's going on, D-Love?
Yeah. Could have been a throwaway.
Yeah. You know, like you say 5 different guns was used in this shooting, but the police fired as well. We know that. There's no doubt about it. What's going on, Miss Dana? April in the building. How y'all doing? So let's listen to this again. We're gonna find another clipping.
It was a dark day for Philadelphia. And while many of us were out enjoying the beautiful day in the city, a horrendous and unthinkable acts happened in a very popular local and tourist hangout.
We have team coverage tonight. NBC 10's Brian Sheehan is at Girard College in Francisville. That's where one of the victims worked. But let's start with NBC 10's Karen Hua. She's on South Street. And Karen, you spoke to neighbors who tell you they are disturbed and fed up.
Yeah, that's right, Rosemary. When you think of this part of South Street, you probably think of busy bars, restaurants, and clubs. And yes, that is the case often on Saturday nights, but this part is also a vibrant residential area. Families live here, and they say they're usually used to loud noise, but the residents we spoke to say that they have not seen anything or heard anything like the deadly mass shooting last night.
This hits home. This is where we live every day. And you have to be able to send your kids to school. You got to be able to walk down South Street without having your life in your hands.
It started as a normal busy night on South Street until this.
We're going to need everybody. We got multiple victims. We got hundreds of people.
Police say 2 men got into a fight, then started shooting at each other and into the crowd. 14 people shot, 3 killed. Of the dead, one of the shooters and 2 innocent bystanders, according to police. Officials also tell us an officer fired at one of the shooters, causing the shooter to drop his gun and run away. Police believe the officer's bullet hit the man. In this witness video, you hear at least a dozen bangs, then the crowd screaming and run out.
All of a sudden, we just see this massive
Way. Police believe the officer's bullet hit the man. In this witness video, you hear at least a dozen bangs, then the crowd screaming and run out.
all of a sudden, we just see this massive people run down 4th Street heading north, and looking at them, it looked like a bunch of teenagers.
Kayla Harnish, who lives on South Street, witnessed the chaos firsthand. She and other nearby residents say police are almost always patrolling South Street on weekend nights, yet this still happened.
They're always right here. They're always a presence, but I think it's just going beyond what I guess our traditional police methods can do.
What happened last night was an atrocity, but it's not something that we see all the time. And again, I don't want us to normalize this. This is not something that's normal in the city of Philadelphia.
Police are still looking into the exact motive. Officials say at least 5 guns were involved, one of which had a high-capacity magazine.
Furious. I am furious, not just for my neighborhood.
I'm sorry, I'm
for the whole
talking to y'all.
country.
I'm on mute. Remember what they just said? Our magazine. Let me go back because I don't want to repeat the wrong thing.
City of Philadelphia.
Police are still looking into the exact motive. Officials say at least 5 guns were involved, one of which had a high-capacity magazine.
They say that in every mass shooting that we've had this year. Think about why.
Furious. I am furious, not just for my neighborhood, for the whole country. If I hear one more time, thoughts and prayers.
The Philadelphia Police Commissioner saying they'll immediately provide more patrols on South Street. But some wonder if this is the time for stricter gun control law.
What you mean they gonna have more patrol? They had 70 officers already out there.
I had an aha moment. When you played it the second time, and the people that were interviewed were residents. So they let the little colored kids come in their neighborhood and play, but they're securely guarded in their neighborhood where they live, like a gated community. That's why all those cops were there, because all those people were there. And so what's the best way to get rid of things you don't really bother? Kill it. Raid.
So
Something.
now
They got Zebo now.
So from what I heard her say, this is normal. This is normal. Like they people be out here. This is like the club scene. There's a lot of, I guess, bars and stuff on this strip. So
yes,
what was different about this night? And you heard what they said. They stated that they don't have these type of issues in this area. I do not think that guy in the white shirt ever fired his gun. I really don't think he did. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but Philly is a racist city. There are a lot of racist cities around here. Somebody could have been upset about one business making more money in that neighborhood than in another one. Maybe they tried to draw the crowd. Who spends more money than black people?
Nobody.
Who spends more money than black people? Thank you very much. So here all these black people are in this predominantly white neighborhood that get to accumulate on the street and play and spend their money. It could have gone anywhere from there. Jealousy, envy. Yep.
Let me shout out the people that slid. What's up, RJ? RJ, if you want to hit that link, brother, you know you're welcome to come up here. RJ is another another brother, part of the true crime community. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to his channel. He's a good guy. He over at John Q's as well. Who else in the building? Crucial K, I think I already hollered at Crucial. D Love in the building. Nikki New, aka Professor Cupcake, in the building. Appreciate y'all for coming through. We're just talking about the Philly shooting, and why we feel like you can't just stop at the surface of what they provide or present to us. You know, if you want to know the truth, you got to seek for it. You know, we don't trust the government. Let's be honest. We don't trust the media. We don't trust the government because we feel like it's always an ulterior motive. And I remember when I covered the Buffalo shooting and I had my brother Neutral come up here, he stated, and if you were here, you remember this, it's something bigger that's going to happen following this. And I remember myself saying, I don't think it's over. It's going to be more. 245 mass shootings that happened this year. We haven't even had 245 days. Now, I know some people say, what is a mass shooting? What do they consider a mass shooting? Well, my assumption is more than 3 to 4 people getting killed or multiple innocent bystanders. Who knows? But I think somebody put in the chat earlier, would you consider a drive-by a mass shooting? Because that happens all the time. Regardless of whatever the qualifications that makes it a mass shooting, it's getting out of hand right now. All of a sudden, out of the blue, that's all you're now seeing. Do you think this is a fucking coincidence? Fuck no. This shit is just like fucking COVID. Think about it.
Yes. They've even had some mass shootings, some drive-bys here in South Carolina. Oh, Sleepy, South Carolina. There was a 6-year-old boy in his house watching TV or playing games or something, and there was a drive-by and a stray bullet killed a 6-year-old boy. They finally found out after 2 weeks it was a drug deal gone bad, and they shot up the wrong house. It was a drug deal, and it was some white people. It was white people in the neighborhood got gypped out of some money, a bad drug deal, and a 6-year-old paid the price. And then I think yesterday or Sunday or Monday, there was a family having a graduation barbecue out in the yard. Drive by, teenager got killed.
Crazy.
So it's like everybody's following suit. Everybody's jumping off cliffs. I don't get it. I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't.
I have no idea. But I want you to take a look at this footage now. In the middle, you probably can't. You definitely can't see me. Let me see if you can. No, you can't see it. Look in the middle of the screen. You're gonna see a young lady start running before everybody do. Did she see something? Did she hear something? Watch. Pay attention. You see her running? She getting the hell on.
Yeah.
Maybe she's trying to catch up with some friends. Either she's trying to catch up with some friends or she's seen the beef happening. Look at the girl right here and look like white shorts, with a black purse, some black shoes. I don't know. She could be trying to catch up with her friends. I don't know. But just watch how she got the hell on real quick.
Yeah, she did. She was scooting.
And you gotta look at it. A lot of people is moving in this direction before everybody even scattered. Then the gun fired. Oh, let's get the fuck on. We ain't asking no questions. I ain't got no questions asked. I got to get the hell on. Oh, hold on. I just seen something. Hold on. We got my brother RJ coming up on the panel. What's going on, RJ?
Hello. How are you doing?
Good, man. Welcome over here to the neighborhood.
Absolutely.
Glad
I've
you
been
can join
quietly
us.
following this one. I'm actually originally from the Philadelphia metro area. Went to high school.
Oh, wow.
And throughout the whole entire area, from Ben Salem, being in Philadelphia, Fishtown area, to South Jersey. I graduated from a high school in South Jersey. So,
okay, all right. So you familiar with this particular area that we're looking at, right?
oh yeah. You were saying right before I joined, or before I was listening on another device. Why was the police response to this particular location and event? And I'm going to sit here and tell you it's 100% location. Center City,
Yes.
Philadelphia is right up the road.
All right, Professor Cupcake, you say I'm lagging. If y'all can hear me, let me know. I'm looking at my phone to make sure I don't see it, but I'm not listening to my phone either. Let me put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me good, please.
Here, you're perfectly fine from where I'm sitting.
All right.
Me too.
So, in this particular area, have you ever known there to be this type of situation to occur?
I would say if I had to think back hard and far enough to probably the mid-late 90s, there probably was a shooting or two. But it was an argument broke out. Shooting happened between one person. One person was shot. Probably was over some, excuse my phrasing of this, it was over some chick dancing up on somebody in a nightclub. It probably is what it was, but nothing to the severity.
Let me stop right here real quick because one of my members of my team just had an aneurysm removed. So I want to say my prayers go out to you, Marley 13. I hope you get well real soon. That's a serious situation. So you definitely in my prayers.
Absolutely.
Nikki New said something that I want to, that's a lot of people feel is what's happening. She said, there's always a copycat wave after a mass shooting. People are already suicidal in these cases, and they're emboldened. What's your thought about that, Lorraine? Queen Lorraine?
I can't relate this to being a copycat. I think, like I said, it's a manifestation of defects. You know, people are just all messed up. They're not necessarily. It's like they got an excuse to be stupid or to act up. I can't see it as a copycat. Not at the moment. Not at the moment. But it's like RJ was saying. It's the location. You know where they were. That to me, that's why there were so many police there. You know,
Center City.
That and I don't know anything about the area other than what I've been told. You know, and like I said, it was too cold, and COVID was in full effect when I was up there, so I didn't get to sightsee or anything. But the sightseeing was supposed to be nice, but supposedly the people are pretty racist. You know, as long as everybody stays in their neighborhood and does what they're supposed to do, everything is okay. But it's like that all over America. It is. So, you know, you can't just, I'm not going to just point the finger at Philadelphia. My daughter and her children don't want to go out anymore. She doesn't want to go shopping. She doesn't want to eat any more dairy. They're gonna stop eating meat. She's gonna grow what she can in her garden because there's no place to be safe. And she said where that area is, her children's dentist is in that area. They don't want to go to the dentist. It's like mass hysteria. Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And like I said, it's not. I can't see it as a copycat theory. It's just part of the chaos and the madness. I don't know what to say about it.
South Street, just to give you a little bit of my apologies. I didn't mean to talk over you there.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Just give everybody a little bit of a map reference. I just double checked myself because I was going to say 6 blocks, but it's 5 blocks from the major tourist area, downtown Philadelphia, Center City, Philadelphia, where you have all the major tourist attractions. You have Independence Hall. You have where the Liberty Bell is, where Betsy Ross. It's all downtown Center City area, roughly. And this is 5 blocks. South Street literally gets its name. It's south of Center City. This is about 5 blocks south of Center City.
So what I want to do now is I want to just play this particular clip because it seems like they charged somebody. So let's take a look at this because it says teen charged in South Street mass shooting. So let's take a look.
NBC 10 breaking news.
I'm NBC 10's Tracy Davidson. We're coming on the air right now with new details on that deadly mass shooting on Philadelphia South Street. Right now, District Attorney Larry Krasner is speaking. Let's listen.
It has been her entire career, and the only reason that she was not here this morning at the press conference is that she had to be on South Street itself, where she's working hand in hand with Philadelphia Police Department, ATF, and other law enforcement partners to make sure we gather all the evidence and that we evaluate it correctly and we move on it. There are some developments. I'm going to ask ADA Pescatore to come forward, provide the information that she is able to provide, and there is some. She will be holding back the information she should not provide, and there is some, although it will become, a lot of that will be clarified within the next couple of days. And after she's concluded explaining to you some of this information, you should feel free to ask her questions about the investigation. I will obviously also be available. Joanne?
Thank you, DA Krasner. Good afternoon. The District Attorney's Office has approved warrants for 2 individuals with regard to the incident that took place on South Street this Saturday night. One of those individuals is currently in custody. The other individual is not. I will only give you the name of the individual who is currently in custody. The other I will not. The individual who is currently in custody, his name is Quran, Quran, Garner, Garner. He's charged with multiple offenses, including aggravated assault, 2 counts, and aggravated assault on law enforcement officers, 2 counts as well. There is another individual who an arrest warrant has been issued for. I will not reveal his name at this particular time. I was on South Street today, and it is approximately a 2-block scene. It starts at one end of South Street and works its way down to South and American Street. I was with the homicide detectives who have worked tirelessly since Saturday night, since this job came in, along with ATF and other law enforcement agencies trying to figure out what exactly happened here. There is numerous video, as you can imagine. There are numerous cameras on that 2-block radius. Various videos have been pulled. There are no murder charges at this particular time. That investigation is still ongoing. When I tell you they are culling video and going through it as we speak, there is still video coming in. The neighborhood has been quite cooperative. When we were out there, people were coming up to give us information and to tell us whatever they knew. And I'm going to ask if anyone has any information, please call the homicide unit, 215-686-3334. The assigned detective is Matthew Farley. You can talk to him or anybody else that is working, and they will take your information.
What do you believe Garner did?
Karan Garner is on video shooting back toward the area where the initial confrontation takes place between Gregory Jackson and Micah Towns, who is a victim in this particular case. Karan Jackson, it's our belief, was a friend or was with Micah Towns when this initial altercation starts. After the initial altercation, guns are drawn by Gregory Jackson and Micah Towns. Gregory Jackson shoots at Micah Towns first. Micah Towns returns fire, shooting and killing Gregory Jackson. As a result of that, Karan Garner then begins to fire down the street toward South Street, toward where the initial confrontation took place. It is at that point that Philadelphia police begin to shoot after Karan Garner pulls a gun, has the gun out and looks in their direction. They shoot at him, shooting his hand. He's currently at Thomas Jefferson University Hospital undergoing surgery for a result of injuries sustained when the police shot back at him.
He's the dude with the hat. Garner's the one wearing the hat in that video. Has he got a hat on, smallish? And how old?
How old? I don't have his age. I don't know that he has a hat on. The video I saw, he's wearing what I would describe as a balaclava. It covers his entire head. One could possibly wear it as a COVID mask and a gray hoodie.
What do you know about the gun? The gun that he used? What can you tell us about the gun he used?
The gun that he used was left at the scene. It is a ghost gun, and it did have an extended magazine.
The other charges in the other warrant, what are those charges?
The other charges are going to be attempted murder, aggravated assault, simple assault, recklessly endangering another person, conspiracy, violation of the Uniforms Firearms Act, possession of an instrument of crime, tampering with evidence, and obstruction of justice.
So may I just back up for the sake of clarity for everyone here? Now, 88 Pescator, if you're not comfortable answering this, just tell me, because you are the keeper of the investigation. But you mentioned three different names: Gregory Jackson, Micah Towns, and also Karan.
Yes.
Can you explain for the journalists who are gathered here what role each of these people played in the initial encounter, if any, and what is their condition now?
Okay, certainly, D.A. Krasner. So Micah Towns is walking down South Street. You can't tell if he's with Karan Garner at that time. They're in close proximity to each other. At some point, he passes by on the same side of the street, Gregory Jackson and two other men, one of them being the unnamed person who the arrest warrant is for. As he's passing by, words are exchanged. As words are exchanged, then Gregory Jackson takes a swing at Micah Towns, striking him in the face. It's at that point that the other male, who we have an arrest warrant for, begins in the melee at that point. Micah Towns is then thrown against a window while they are beating on him. At some point, you see Gregory Jackson, who did have a permit to carry, pull out a gun, and he has the gun at his side. Micah Towns is in the middle of South Street. At that point, Gregory Jackson begins to fire at Micah Towns, Micah Towns, who also has a permit to carry, pulls out his gun and shoots back at Gregory Jackson, ultimately killing him. It's at that
Ultimately killing whom?
Gregory Jackson. It's at that point that the unnamed person who there's an arrest warrant for picks up the gun that Gregory Jackson had and gives it to another male in a blue hoodie, who then leaves the scene. That unnamed male still stays at the scene, putting pressure on the wound of Gregory Jackson, and gives his name to police and where he lives and all his information. It's at that point that Karan Garner then begins firing down South Street in the location where this melee took place. And then after he stops shooting, the police, when he turns his gun toward them, fire at him. And then you see Karan Garner run down American Street saying out loud, "He shot my hand off, he shot my hand off." Karan Garner then makes his way to 4th and Bainbridge, where there are police positioned there. There had been an earlier shooting at 4th and Bainbridge approximately an hour before that. Police were at that location for that shooting. Karan Garner approaches the police and tells them, I got shot during this incident. They put him in a patrol car and take him to Thomas Jefferson University Hospital, where he is at this time. Micah Towns is in serious condition at this time. He is at Penn Presbyterian Hospital, and that's why the charges with regard to him as a victim are attempted murder.
You believe Mr. Garner was shooting at the direction of Mr. Jackson in order to defend Mr. Jones?
And that is the belief, except that Mr. Jackson was already down, and that particular incident was clearly over probably 20 to 30 seconds when Karan Garner then begins to fire down that street.
Just want to clarify, because it's a little confusing again. You're talking about Micah Towns and you talked about the attempted murder charges, but we're not talking about Micah Towns being charged.
No, Micah Towns is not being charged in this case. He's not. He's
As
the
we
victim
continue
on
to
the
hear answers to questions, as we're really getting a lot of information.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there because that was a lot of information right there that, of course, I didn't know about. So I'm going to just go over some of the notes that I just wrote down compared to what we just saw prior to watching this particular news clipping.
She said it was two locations, approximately 2 blocks apart. Is that what she said?
She said it all happened originally on South Street, and it was like in a 2-block, I guess, radius. So it started on
No.
1 block, and I guess continued down further. So
Okay.
go ahead.
No. I'm gonna share an image. When you're ready to bring it up, let me know.
Let's go.
So I can navigate it.
Bring it on, bro. Bring it on.
All right, bear with me a second here. Now, when she said South Street and American Street, I already had an idea where she was talking about. And I'm going to actually scroll out because this street, South American Street, is going to disappear in a second on us. Where she's talking about one location happening is in this general area. And then the other location is over here. This is 4th and Brainbridge. That's why I was curious if she was saying it's about 2 blocks. That's 3 blocks.
So let's just rewind this. Originally, what was said, I'm assuming with Micah, Karan, and Greg, that happened on South Street. And they said it all happened in a 2-block radius.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, as they continue to talk, this is new developments that I didn't know about, they had a shooting that happened on another street. Is that the other street that you said that's away from South Street?
Yes, this is 4th and Brainbridge. I changed the to be in not just a plain map here, but this is still 4th and Brainbridge right here. And this is South and American.
So now you heard what I heard. Didn't they say not Karan, or was it Karan? One of them ran where they ran into some other cops that was there for the other shooting. Now, what you're showing, that don't look, I guess he ran a long ways to get to where they was at, right?
Right. He ran south on American, then west on Brainbridge, 2 blocks to get to 4th and Brainbridge.
Yeah.
Okay, over here to the right, if I were to keep scrolling to the right at past 95 is the Delaware River, just to give everybody a reference of where we're at in Philadelphia. West of 95 here is the Delaware River. 5 blocks south of Center City. Center City's up over this direction.
All right, so they was talking fast, so help me. I'm just looking at my notes. I want to just go over the people that they mentioned, and then we're gonna go back and look at the footage again and see if it makes sense. So we got Karan, Greg, and Micah. Micah was the guy in all black. He's still alive. Greg was the one in the white shirt. He's dead. They said he shot first. Now, we was just watching this footage to see if he shot the gun. And, of course, my assumption, I didn't see that happen. All right? Now they said Karan was a guy, and it's crazy. They got the same last name. Both their last names Jackson. They said was walking on the same side of the street, but he walked past them prior. So who, and I'm assuming this is the person they're looking for, who was the person that was up there with Gregory Jackson when they approached the guy in all black? And let's think about it. He was right there up on this guy. You shot first and you didn't kill him. He shot back and killed you. How in the hell did that happen?
Yeah. Your chat's asking whether or not Philadelphia is an open carry or not. It's CCW.
Can you explain that, please?
Meaning you have to have not only the what you're going to be carrying registered with the police prior to, but you also have to have another license ability to be carrying with a concealed. That's what CCW is.
Right. Okay. Because I have my license to carry. I can't carry concealed, but I have my license to carry. All right. So, did you catch anything in that, Lorraine, that stood out to you from what we've been viewing prior to that news article?
Yes. Okay. One of them was supposed to have run and saying they shot off my hand. So if that had to have been a sniper with all these people around and everybody running, how they shoot one person? See that? Yeah, one person's hand. And like I said, there had to be a sniper, a sharpshooter. That was that. Nah. And like my daughter said, they were shooting into the crowd. They had to have been, and they claimed there was 5 weapons. So that was an excuse. You know, everybody could have just started pulling the trigger.
Now I want to ask. I'm sorry. I want to ask RJ.
Mm-hmm.
This street right here that we looking at. All right. Is this South Street right here where everybody is actually about to run down?
Yes, this is South Street because Brainbridge actually has a division in the middle of it, a little area, a curbed off area that has grass and trees and shrubbery.
So is it safe to say that the shooting occurred originally, if we go up to the top of the screen, like at the left-hand corner at the top, you feel like that's where that shooting occurred, being that you see everybody running this way? Or am I in the wrong vicinity? Because I'm gonna go back to the other footage too. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull that back up. But is that safe to say, or am my directions off?
Well, going by where, if I could see a business name or something like that, I could probably tell you for sure.
Right, and that's what I'm picking up now.
Yeah. Or even that sign that looks like a street sign right by the light post near the just off the corner behind the crosswalk on the top side of the. If we can get a clearer picture on that, I would be able to tell you. But just going by just as being a photo, I couldn't tell you, or a little bit of a video, I couldn't tell you exactly where this camera was. But this going by what I know of Brainbridge versus 2 Street or South Street between 3rd and 2nd or American and 3rd. This is going to definitely be off of 2nd Street. I'm going to put it that way.
Let's take a look at this real quick, and this may help, may not. I don't know.
Lives. Thanks for watching this special streaming edition of NBC 10 News. I'm Rosemary. Lost their lives. Law enforcement sources tell NBC 10 this.
All right, so do you recognize that restaurant right here?
That's Reader's Water Ice. That's 2nd Street. That's just off the. I'm sorry, South Street, just off of 3rd Street.
So comparing that to this. Now, am I correct as far as where they're running from? Is that coming from that area that you just told us, the restaurant?
Yeah, they're run. So Rita's Water Ice is probably this the striped, red and white striped. It almost looks pinkish overhang over front of a building over here towards the top center. That's probably
so South Street is running
left to right.
Left to right.
And the American would be going where they ran down.
Oh, okay. So my direction was off because I thought South Street was from top to bottom.
Now, yeah, I'm going by. I believe that over the tarp is actually red and white striped since it's not in focus and looking pink. So I could be off as well, but that gives you see how it's red and white striped in this picture.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So it's possible that I am off, but just going at an initial look at this,
okay, and what store is this right here on the corner at the top? Right here on the corner.
Oh, it's
you know
been
what that
years?
is?
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, I can't tell you what that is because it's just I've not been. I don't live in Philadelphia any longer. I grew up and raised there. This is 70s through 90s, early 2000s. So and Philadelphia has had a lot of change since then.
Let me holler at the people in the chat. I won't forget about my people. What's going on, D-Love? Nika B, I'm pretty sure you caught up on what we're talking about. Leslie say 2 + 2. This is not equals 5. This is not making sense. It doesn't. The fact that the 70 cops were there now I can say 70 cops were in the vicinity. If you want to call the second vicinity that RJ was telling us about the vicinity, because it 2 blocks away.
I'd say 3 because you have to go 1 block south, then 2 blocks west.
Right. So would you say that's the vicinity? Because when they say 70 cops was in the vicinity, would you still consider that the vicinity of where this shooting happened at?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a 5-minute walk.
Okay, so what they said Gregory Jackson, he shot first. And he's the guy in the white t-shirt. Then they said Micah Towns, who was in all black, the guy that they was jumping on, shot back, killing Gregory Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back and let's watch and see if this makes sense now. Let's see if this makes sense. I'm going to slow it down, but I'm going to keep the volume. So excuse the little lagging of the sound because I got it in slow-mo. So I want y'all to be able to hear when the gunshots happen. Let's go.
Video is key evidence in the investigation. You can see the man in the white shirt pulls a gun.
Man in the white shirt. Remember, that is Gregory Jackson. The guy in the all black is Michael Towns.
And as the fight breaks out with 2 others on South Street between 2nd and 3rd, then you hear gunfire.
Now, that's the first gunshot. You can actually see Michael Towns right here to the right of that umbrella, right here in between the bushes and that umbrella. That's him right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they said Gregory was the one who shot. Do you assume that this is the point that he shot? Because what they said, 20 to 30 seconds after Karan Jackson, which I'm assuming is not in this footage because they would have called that out as him being the person that's with Gregory. That's not him. They said 20 to 30 seconds after, that's when he shot, and that's when the police started shooting. Now listen. That wasn't 30 seconds. Wasn't 30 seconds.
And there's definitely a different sound in the. I'm wearing a pretty good set of headphones on. I can hear a distinct difference in the two different pops.
Exactly. They said 20 to 30 seconds. The police didn't shoot, but they shot 20 to 30 seconds after. Well, not after he shot, but 20 to 30 seconds after this initial, I guess, shooting happened, which we didn't hear or didn't see any gunshots or whatever. But they shot then when Karan, which is the guy that we never see, that's when the police shot. That's bullshit if you just look at this footage.
So just out of curiosity, I didn't hear anybody mention a time of when this occurred.
Thank you. Lorraine, didn't I say that to you?
Earlier, they had said it was like what 11:30 at night. They did mention a time, but I don't remember. It was a Saturday night, and I don't think it was. I don't think it was after midnight. I don't remember, but they did mention a time.
That's what I'm trying to figure out too, RJ. The time.
Right.
That's the time.
So the reason I'm mentioning that, and forgive me, 2 blocks to the west, down 2nd Street, is the theater district of Philadelphia. Not the arts district. That's out on the west side of going out to the art museum. This is the theater district, where all your plays and everything, the colleges use that, the facilities, it's just 2 blocks away. So we're talking restaurants that you would normally just go and sit down either before or after the show had let out to have a meal, and this is happening. Not too far of a difference in time. So that could explain, and I'm not trying to excuse or explain a large police presence, but that could be part of the reason. You already have a large tourist event. It's Saturday night going on in that area, so you would expect a higher police presence to ensure a person's safety.
True that. I can understand that and respect that. And just to my chat, if I miss a comment and you definitely want it to be recognized and I miss it, please click the link and come up here with us. I'm not ignoring anyone. Just want to remind y'all. Y'all know I always show love to my people on my panel. So if I miss it and you definitely got a great point that you want to point out, please jump up here with us. You don't got to show yourself. Go ahead, Lorraine. I think you was going to say something.
No. I was trying to remember the time. I know I heard the time, but I can't remember it. I'm all right.
So the mystery guy, what they said, well, he ain't the mystery guy because he actually gave his information to the police when he ran to the second location. So now they're looking for him. That's weird. He ran for help. And that's Karan, I believe. Karan Jackson, which is the friend of Gregory Jackson, who shot 20 to 30 seconds later after the initial shooting between Greg and Michael. Greg shot first. Michael shot back, killing Greg. Did Greg have a BB gun or something? Because if you look at it, Michael was at a disadvantage. He had the other guy in the gray sweater helping the guy in the white shirt.
Between 2nd and 3rd.
How in the hell? How in the hell, if Gregory had the gun already in his hand and the other guy in all black, which is Michael, tussling with the other guy, how the hell did, and I don't wish death on nobody. Don't get that confused. How did he get a chance to shoot back and kill this guy? Don't make sense to me, man.
And wasn't there some footage of the two of them running away? The two of them running away in the opposite direction. The guy in the black shirt was on the street, and the other two were looking back at him and running away.
What? Hold on.
See,
now,
they're not
because-
showing all the footage that everybody's got.
Hold on now. There's no way that the guy in the white was running away because he was killed.
Where did he die?
That's the question. That's the question. I was just going to say, unless he got
Where
shot
did he
and ran
die?
a few steps and died.
But the two of them were together running away in the opposite direction that they had come in the first place and attacked the guy in the black shirt. They showed them running away. I saw that. Just like I saw that brother laying there in the street, and I said it looked like he was hurt. Looked like he was hurt.
D-Love.
And
Go ahead.
During the press conference, the sister was talking about what time it was, but it won't come back to me. It won't.
Okay.
But time was mentioned.
I'm just rewinding this for D-Love because she said, in her honest opinion, she feel like the guy in the white shirt had a cell phone. Well, we finna watch. You finna watch him pull out his gun.
NBC 10, this.
That ain't a cell phone.
No.
That is not a cell phone.
No.
That ain't how you carry a cell phone. And I wish I could see who the other guy that they claimed that was with the guy in the white shirt who did the shooting 30 seconds after. That's what I want to see.
So just to correct myself, now I'm taking a closer look at the camera angle and location of places and things like that. This camera angle is actually from 3rd and South, which is to the west. We'll put Rita's Water Ice. And so you're looking at, from this camera angle you're showing, you're looking down South Street towards American. So the other location they were mentioned, 4th and Brainbridge, would be a block, would be almost the catty corner. If there's no buildings, it's just an open field. It would be going from one corner to the opposite corner, crossing through the park area type of deal.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the chat real quick. Nikki New say the article I'm looking at says there were 2 separate shooting incidents. Yes, there actually was. And that was the second location that happened earlier that night, where one of the guys ran and met up with the police and said he shot his hand off. And going back to what Ms. Lorraine said, if that actually happened, boy, that was a sniper. Because if he had a gun in his hand and he shot that hand that had the gun in it, that sounds like they were set up somewhere watching. If that's the case. And I don't want to say that's a lucky shot. You shot the man right in his hand he had a gun in? Nah, I don't think that was a lucky shot.
To shoot a person in the hand to knock out of their hand a gun or a weapon of some sort, that's a police tactic. So was there somebody that was plain clothes?
I don't know.
Which would also explain the large presence or response of police.
That's a good point you point out there. No problem, dude.
That's a good point.
Great point. Let's see here. Let's let this roll a little bit, see if we can catch anything else.
Flying, an officer on patrol fired and struck one of the shooters. The gunman dropped his weapon and ran away. It's unclear exactly how many people were involved, but police believe at least 5 different guns were used. The police
5 different guns. Let's stop and talk about that. You got the guy in the white shirt who had a gun, who died. You had the guy in the black shirt who had a gun. Then you had the guy who shot 20 to 30 seconds later who had a gun. That's 3. Where's it? What happened? Where these other 2 came from? Let's continue.
Commissioner described the chaos as devastating.
Yesterday was a dark day for Philadelphia. And while many of us were out enjoying
Normal busy night on South Street until this.
We're going to need everybody. We got multiple victims. We got hundreds of people.
Police say two men got into a fight, then started shooting at each other and into the crowd.
See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. From here, right here,
Fight, then started shooting at each other and into the crowd.
to here, the relation of that. So you said South Street runs from left to right. So what trips me out is they're running from top to bottom, not left to right, and that's what's confusing me.
14
so
people shot.
some of them are fleeing down 3rd Street, and some of them are fleeing down South Street.
Yeah,
it's the only area that fits because of where Rita's water ice fill is.
Let's take a look and see. South Street is left to right. You're right. So I'm assuming the shooting came from the left-hand side of the screen.
So did anybody notice that vehicle that was in this intersection was either doing shooting or got hit? Watch the windshield.
Oh, damn sure did. Did you see that? Oh, yes. Good point.
Oh.
Good point.
Somebody in the vehicle was either shooting or got hit in that.
Right there. You see the window bust.
Yep. And so where was it going? Where did it come from? That's not right either.
Let's go back.
All those people out there on the street and a black van has to come through. I didn't even see it before. I sure
I
did.
seen it.
I was looking at the people.
And you know, the thing is, now, am I correct by saying this, RJ? He's headed in the direction where those guys was at, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That don't make sense.
That's what I said too. They were around the corner.
South Street is a two-way street. So he and I'm. If you want me to share the map again, I'll be more than happy to. But the intersection there, I can clearly say, is definitely South and 3rd because of where the location of where Rita's water ice is, and also the way the markings on this street are with the crosswalks and the X in the middle. If you go 2 blocks east, 2 blocks west, 2 blocks south, 2 blocks north, there is no other location like this.
Wow.
And running from the bottom right to the top left, that is 3rd. Running from the left to the right, that is South Street.
Yeah, Nikki New is actually saying a lot of stuff that we talking about. 245 mass shootings in 156 days, which we was discussing earlier. It's not a coincidence. And then she actually agreed to what you said. There had to be some plain clothes cops if there were 70 plus officers. Now, the only question I have is, are they including those officers that was at the shooting prior to all this happening? How many officers was actually closer than the first shooting that happened that day? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because they say they was in the vicinity. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to consider 2-3 blocks away, like you said, RJ, that vicinity, then yeah, that makes sense why 70 people were there. But before they actually told us that there was a shooting that happened prior to this, they just said 70 cops was in the vicinity. Like they were just on the scene, protecting, the citizens in this large gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not including those cops that was at that prior scene, then it had to be plain clothes cops in this area. Had to be.
Right.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'll relate this to being Camden, New Jersey, back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, when Camden was in so much trouble that the state police actually had to come in and take over the city. I'm not going to go into the details of why that happened, but they had to come in and take over the city. Okay. They reformed and cleaned Camden, New Jersey so much that it's actually a respectable city now, more respectable than it was back then. And a lot of the trouble that was happening in Camden just simply went over the bridge.
Oh.
Okay.
That was the mob.
Yes, exactly. That kind of mentality. And because, oh boy, this is just South Street became a focal point because of how much people went to go shopping, went to go clubbing, went to go eat. That it became a focal point for trafficking activity, gang related activity. And I'm not saying it didn't happen. You know, you asked me originally, did I ever remember anything happening to this level? And I still stand by no. There was not anything to that level. It was still, you know, where like I said, I can remember one incident of a shooting in a nightclub. But this area is more remote from Center City, so I'm actually leaning more towards there was either a plainclothes officer, or that because of location that these other shooting happened, that they automatically sent anybody that they didn't need at that first location over here immediately to flood this location because of how close it was to the other shooting. That's just my gut instinct, and I've not looked into this much at all.
No. Boss?
Oh, my fault. I'm sitting here talking with my goddamn mic muted. But I understand and I appreciate what you're saying. I can't argue with you because you actually used to live in this area. But I did find this footage, and it's another angle of where people ran from. Now, I don't know. I haven't watched because I just found it. So let's take a look at this.
Home, and the chaos ensued.
Now, RJ, do you know where this is actually at in reference to what we've seen?
Park area? Looks like a park area.
Yeah, I'm looking into that. Looking at the map area that I had originally shown, because I know honestly on the first impression I'm not familiar with it.
Okay. This is footage from someone's ring camera footage.
Ooh.
Like
this isn't looking familiar.
Blinds, we just jumped on the ground. I was like, we didn't.
While inside, he and his pregnant wife took cover.
My wife was like, get down. Like we closed our blinds. We just jumped on the ground. I was like, we didn't know if the person was going to come down this alleyway or not. So it was terrifying.
We're home, and the chaos ensued. Medic's ring camera captured many running for their lives outside his home, while inside, he and his pregnant wife took cover.
My wife was like,
if I think it's the street that it might be, it's not a street they would want it to run down because it actually loops back around to South Street or Brainbridge Street, actually, and American Street. There's a small street a couple blocks down from South American called South Phillips Street. Like I said, it just loops. It's a loop around to back to Brainbridge.
So, being that you stated that South Street is going from left to right, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You ever wondered, being that you pointed out that car, that van or SUV got shot on the passenger side? Does that, to me, and this is me, to me that explains that there were actually police officers making these shots, man. Because if the shooting was happening from the left side of the screen, where those guys were at, if the shots were coming from that way, to hit his windshield, not the side of his vehicle, correct?
Yeah, that's definitely a windshield shot. The way that glass shattered.
You saying that's a windshield shot?
Oh yeah.
No, that look. If you're looking at it the way I'm looking at it, it looks like, look through the driver's side window. That don't look like it's on the other side of that car. Maybe I'm tripping. Because it looked like if you look through the glass of the driver door, if you're looking through it, it looked like it hit from the other side. And
No, you're right. I'll agree with you 100% there. Now that I'm looking at it more carefully, it's the way that it's spidered, and the spidering would get worse from it.
Yeah, because I'm not saying, because if it, yeah, that looks like it's coming from that other window.
Mm-hmm. No, I'll agree with you now. Now that I took a closer look at it, because of the way it's spidered, it's the energy. It's basic physics. What is that? An object in motion is not going to be stopped unless whatever. It's the same idea. The energy is still going to go in that same direction. The spidering action would still follow that same reaction.
Exactly.
Or direction.
Yeah, I don't think the spidering would have stopped right in that just one spot of that glass if that was the windshield. I think it would have continued. But, I don't know what kind of bullets was used, even though they say extended clip. But if you look at the gun that the guy in the white shirt had, that shit just like a pistol to me. So that means somebody else had an extended clip. Now, I'm glad I stopped it right there. Do y'all remember the footage where they was talking about the guy who can't find, who was walking down the street prior, that supposedly been with Gregory? They said he had a mask on his face that can be considered a COVID mask. Tell me what you see on the screen right now.
A man in a red mask.
Let's go back to where he ran from. That wasn't South Street. If we looking at South Street from left to right, that wasn't South Street. Now, I don't see nobody else, and I can't see everybody in this damn footage at one time, but he stands out to me.
Yeah, he's coming down. Wow. Okay, so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Please continue. I got to actually look at some information before I make that statement.
Let me see if I can catch him prior, because you only see him. I wonder if he the one who shot that goddamn window, because he was right there when it happened. Take a look. Let me go back. Let me go back a little bit further.
Ooh.
Damn, I can't see where the hell he came from, but we know he came from off the side of that damn truck.
So it actually looks like he came out of either the parking garage or the parking lot that's up 3rd Street on the right-hand side.
Let's look now. You don't see nobody that resembles that guy we see running until that damn van move. Before the van gets there, you don't see nobody dressed like him with that red mask on their face. Do anybody see him right now? I don't.
No.
Now watch.
Mhm.
You don't see him. You don't see him. You don't see him. Shots fired. It just happened. Now watch how quick he comes from around this goddamn SUV. Boom, he's right there. But you never see him come from down that damn street. Did he get out that van?
So right behind this building that's on the corner, or this business that's on the corner, if you go up just past where I was saying it looks like there's a street sign and a post, just up past there, just a little bit on the right-hand side, that is actually a parking garage gate and a parking lot that's back there. I'll take a look closer at the original footage, but I'm seeing some movement coming from that direction. It looks like a person coming from down the curb line from that direction and jumps out into the middle of the road right before that happened. And then there's the man in the mask coming up behind the SUV.
I'm trying to see where the hell you pointing at.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's great detail, but if there's a tree or a shrub of some kind right below and to the left of where the blue sign is.
Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Okay. To the left of that tree or the shrub, there is a building that has a gate that's large enough for a vehicle to come through, and that's a parking lot to its up the block a little bit further. I'm not saying that far up the block, but I'm saying in that general direction, there is a person coming down this sidewalk and comes down into the middle of the street seconds before the SUV is hit, what looks like to be shot. And that is the general direction of where this person actually was coming from and changed his direction going around the SUV.
I think I seen it. I think I see I think he came from the left. I seen him. I just spotted him.
Yeah.
Follow me as I go back now.
Sure.
See where he's at, right? There you go, right there in the middle of the street, next to behind the car. Watch this. Pay attention. Look to your left.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh yeah, you're right.
There you go, right there.
See, I'm looking. What caught my attention was coming up from behind the SUV, but you're right. He's right there. He came from the left.
Guess where he's coming from? Where the shooting occurred.
Yep. And as he comes down South Street, or excuse me, down Third here, he's like trying to put something away in his pants waistband.
Or he's holding that goddamn hand.
Look at that. Look right there. He's holding a gun still.
Oh, shit. Let me go back a little bit.
Oh, my. My.
Freeze it. Just one more step.
All right, my fault.
No, you're fine. What's that in his right hand? It looks silver, metal.
It's hard to see.
Right there.
I see what you're talking about, right? But I can't.
He got something.
He got something in his hand.
Yeah.
It's for some reason. It's like it's blurring him out for some reason.
Yeah, that's the tough thing is we can't see that because of where the focus on the camera is not there.
Y'all see that shit?
It looks like he has something in his right hand. That's not my imagination, correct?
No, I see something too. But you guys have eyes like eagles. You see better than I do.
Mm. This is the guy. I'm pretty damn sure this is the guy they're looking for that shot 20 to 30 seconds afterwards. I'm pretty sure that's him. Because they said he had on black too.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh man, crazy. Man,
Can you turn it down, please?
let me take a look at the chat. I appreciate that, GB. I don't know if I'm a good detective, but you can't tell me it's raining outside and you pissing on my head. I know that much. Yeah, I agree with you, Fifi. You said we can see that, the police can too, and I'm pretty sure this is probably they making the same conclusion that we're making right now, because I've actually never seen this particular footage. But D-Love said you're right, RJ. What's going on, Charlie K?
Charlie K, how you doing?
Yeah, B say you have to have an open mind and be able to see those kind of things. Yeah, I mean, if you don't watch it, you'll miss a lot of stuff. And I was a victim of the shooting that happened with the pregnant lady. Because just going by what they said, she didn't have a gun, and come to find out she did have a damn gun. So you definitely got to look at shit for yourself. You just can't believe what people tell you, even if you feel like you can trust them.
Right.
Do the research on your damn self. You know what I'm saying? So, with everything that we've actually seen, everything that's been going on, and I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Rain and RJ. We talked about this on your panel. We talked about this on John Q's panel. Is all of this being, I ain't gonna say glorified, but I guess put on a larger scale because of a bigger picture of them wanting to change gun laws? Ryan, I'm gonna start with you.
Okay. I think that's the biggest issue. I don't think this was staged. I don't think it was copycat. I think the big issue is a reason to change the gun laws. You know, it's not for our safety. People would die before they give up their weapons, and they're not going to go along with the changes automatically. But there's something more sinister going on than just changing gun laws. And I don't care how many people die. There's some people that aren't going to change that. But the intervention would have to be the age limits. But then these weren't teenagers, and 2 of them had weapons permits. You know, so see that's not even the issue. That's not even the problem. It's like animals turning in on themselves. You know, a bear's paw is caught in a trap, and he'll bite his paw off to get out the trap. It's like that's what people are doing, just tearing and chewing things up to get away. You know, that's the only thing I could think of is being caught in the ghetto or a hamster on a wheel. He's gonna keep running on that same wheel until it comes off or he dies. And something has to break that cycle. Something has to break loose. Something has to change, and I don't think it has anything to do with the gun laws. But that's, like I said, that's my opinion. And today was good. Today was good, and it's like I said, you guys have eyes like eagles. you see something, and then I don't see it till you guys see it, and it's like, oh yeah, there it is. You know, I missed the whole thing. But it was very interesting, and I'm glad to have been able to contribute and jumpstart a conversation, plant a seed. But I think it was good to see you again, RJ, even though I haven't
Thank you very
seen you
much.
yet.
Oh,
Yes, and
I
well,
pop up in random places, random times, and Boss Man had caught my attention with this conversation, which really does spin off of what I had my last live and things I had said. It
oh,
just fits extremely well with what I had
okay.
said. What was it, 4 days ago, 5 days ago now, Boss Man?
Yeah, something like that. Can't remember exactly, but yeah, we had this discussion a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, like mines.
yeah, most definitely.
Oh,
But
100%.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
So,
Like I said, I'm glad to be able to have contribute.
I'm glad you were too. I'm glad you brought this to my attention as well.
Okay.
RJ, I know how you feel, so I'm not gonna give you that question. I'm gonna give you a different question.
Okay.
With the fact that some of us do feel like this is a way that they're going to change gun laws, whether it's about military style guns or guns in general. Do you feel like that is the safe thing to do if they were going to push for? Let's just leave the age limit out right now. What if they're just trying to take guns away from American citizens? Do you think that's the right thing to do? Is that a safe thing to do for the American citizen?
Yeah.
If you said something, you faded out.
Because I made this point in my live, and you'll understand, the Boss Man and folks in chat will understand this as well. If you bear with me just a couple moments.
Take your time, man.
So there's a video. It's actually a clip. And if I go back, I can actually share the clip to you through the private message. So you can private chat, so you can grab it and take a look at it if you want. There's a school in New Mexico, school system in New Mexico, where teachers, principal, and the supervisor, or the person that's in charge of security of the school, are all carry weapons, all carry 45s, and the students.
RJ, you there?
I think he froze.
Yeah, he might have froze.
Yeah.
RJ, if you can hear us, you might want to drop that. There you go.
I apologize. I had an internet issue for a second there while I was trying to actually copy and paste that link to you.
Okay.
That I was speaking of. I apologize, folks. But what I was saying is that school in Mexico, New Mexico, and this is actually a thing that was on YouTube, where the students said they felt safer in school with the teachers and the administrator staff carrying 45s. I put that link in the private chat. If you want to take a look at it, Boss Man, it's up to you, of course.
I got it. I'm pulling it up.
It says, when you bring it up, it says Mexico, but if you listen to what they're saying, they do say New Mexico.
Yeah. I think they're trying to implement that in some of the schools in Texas too.
Tennessee, they already have. Well, Tennessee is a little bit different. They have the path to that happening is already there. But
okay,
before you go ahead and play that, I just want to go back to what I was getting to the point of, is that you have the whole idea of also many people talk about or have done videos on defending the United States or the defenses of the United States. And one of the biggest fears that another country has of coming to the United States to attack the United States is the quote unquote American cowboy. The American cowboy? The American cowboy is the person that would be willing to lay down their life defending their country and is not military trained, just the average citizen. And that countries have to take that into account. And it would be essentially a nightmare for them to do so.
I guess you would call that being vigilant, right?
Vigilant, yes, but you gotta be careful because a lot of people consider that with being vigilante.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's why I leave it as defining it as being the American cowboy.
Okay, I can respect that.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead and play it?
Sure.
G.I. Joe. American Cowboy, G.I. Joe. Yeah.
Just in case. Show me your weapons and tell me what they are.
45, sir.
45.
I'm Assistant Pastor. This is the 45. Yes, Director of Security. 45.
The pastor carries a 45 in a case that looks like a Bible. The principal is also armed with a 38 semi-automatic pistol. How many of you feel safer knowing that your teacher has a gun? All of you. School in New Mexico, many of the teachers carry guns just in case. Show me your weapons and tell me what they are.
45, sir.
45.
I'm Assistant Pastor. This is the 45. Yes, Director of Security. 45.
The pastor carries a 45.
Think of that. The students feel safer knowing that the teachers carry a firearm.
I mean, let's think about it. I mean, why wouldn't you? Like, would it cost more money? Because I'm pretty sure are they trained to use this gun, or are they just licensed to carry the gun?
No, so I'm going to compare it to what I know for what happened with Tennessee. Tennessee has laws in place that churches are allowed to have a security team, and this is going back to the South Carolina church that was shot in at a Bible study in 2016, I believe it was. Just going off the top of my head. And it was in response to that the Tennessee didn't want to prohibit churches from defending themselves in such situations. So they made it be where that not only does the persons carrying the security team have to have exemplary skills or show exemplary skills through the series of gun range proficiency and so on and so forth, but they actually have to go through psychological training as well. They have to pass a psychological background that is ongoing. Like every 3-6 months, they have to go through that evaluation again.
Okay.
To be part of the security team.
To stay proficient. Proficient, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So if Tennessee can do that for a church, for churches in response to what happened in South Carolina, why can they not do, and other school systems do, the same thing for the schools? Which is actually where I started off with the live that you had joined me on, Boss Man.
Right.
Wow.
I look at it like, I mean, if they're good enough to teach your kids, they're good enough to protect your kids. And when you send them to school, you're hoping that they're going to protect your kids if some bullshit like this happens. And I think that's exactly why the school police in Uvalde is catching so much goddamn hell, because that's what you were there to do, protect the kids. And if you heard one of the interviews they did with the kids, that kid say the teacher got up and protected them, and that teacher lost her life. Not one officer lost their life. They got on vests. The teacher didn't. But the teacher stood up and no, I'm supposed to teach these kids and help protect these kids. But the police officer that's on duty, who's supposed to help make sure that's carried out, didn't do the damn job. Point blank, period. So if you give me a teacher who got 45 in their goddamn waist, I'm not gonna be scared like you're gonna shoot me if I misbehave, because you have been I can't say sworn in, but you're here to help me become a better citizen. Teach me, so I know you're gonna protect me.
Right, and that's the whole thing. Just them having the weapon becomes a trust factor. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to educate you. If something happens, I'm putting myself in between that individual and you, and I have something on me that's going to be able to protect you.
Exactly.
So that student and it can then relax, not worry about what might happen in that type of situation, and be like, okay, I'm here to learn.
Charlie K said the last mass shooting in the UK was 1996. Obviously, they are they're doing something right. I don't know what they changed, but that's pretty goddamn good. 1996.
Well, it's against the law.
Yeah, they can't have guns.
It's against the law. Yeah, in England, that's against the law. That's why so many people have machetes.
They can't have guns.
Can't have a gun.
They can't have a gun in the UK.
Nope.
So they don't have that freedom of being able to defend themselves.
That's what I'm scared of right there if they was to do that in the US, because they still gonna have people buying guns off the streets. Even if they have the manufacturers, they stop them from selling them. They got to provide law enforcement with guns. They got to provide the army with guns. So you mean to tell me they won't be, supplying guns illegally to citizens on the streets? Hell yeah, they gonna do it. Guess what? They gonna jack the fucking prices sky high. And now you got criminals on the streets with these guns. Yeah, of course, if they get caught, they go to fucking prison. But you got criminals caught with these guns, getting these guns from these dealers who selling them unlawfully, robbing people, going to your house, and you have nothing to protect yourself with but a baseball bat and a gun and a knife. You can't bring a goddamn knife to a gunfight. You're gonna lose every goddamn time. That's what scares me. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's take a look at the chat. D-Love, what happened to church and state? I might have missed something. Let's go back up. There ain't no such thing as a
separation.
Go ahead, Ms. Lori.
She was talking about the separation of church and state, politics and religion.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to a gun, I don't think there's much difference. The church,
right, well,
the church
that
comes
was
to
when
defend you, or the politician can defend you.
Yeah, that was when I was. No, I apologize. I have a bad habit of just jumping in, so please forgive me. That was a comment that popped up while I was talking about what Tennessee did in response to what happened. I said 2016. I apologize. It was 2015, Charleston, South Carolina, that I was referring to, and from the church shooting and what it's doing, what it did. It was take away the laws that were preventing churches from having the security team, an armed security team, because there were laws that say in such settings or gatherings of X number of people. Tennessee's an open carry state, but there's certain locations. If you go into a establishment where before that for religion, or if you went into a bar where you're going to consume a drink, you weren't allowed to open carry. That was what the law said.
Yeah.
The laws at that time said, but they changed the laws to be where the churches could have a security team.
Tess email brings up a great point as well. He said, when Russia attacked Ukraine, who gave the citizen guns to defend themselves? So if another country attacks the U.S., the government can't arm the citizen at that point. That's a great point. We're left having to depend on, you know, the Army, I guess law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? You have nothing to defend yourself. That's an uncomfortable feeling for anybody who's being attacked by anybody. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So taking away guns, I don't think that's the way. Will it stop mass shootings? Possibly. But it does not. I guess you got your citizens now living in fear if someone breaks into their home. You know what I'm saying? And rob them. You know what I'm saying? You're at a disadvantage, and that's the part I don't like. Because as a man, as a father, I'm here. I have to protect my child. If someone breaks in my house, you know what I'm saying, with a gun, I'm gonna have to be a damn shield for my child and lose my life. And there's no promise that after they kill me, they're not gonna kill my child. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's an uncomfortable feeling, man. And I hope it's not moving to change that law where they stop the right to bear arms, but you know, maybe make it a little bit more harder to get a gun, because you know, right now felons can't get guns. But guess what? You see a lot of felons go to prison because they got a goddamn gun. You know what I'm saying?
You brought up my point
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Is that what we already are doing isn't working. You know, it just doesn't work. There's got to be a change. I'm not saying it's a total 180. I'm saying there's got to be a change from what has been to what something that works better.
What's your idea? Give us your idea. Do you have an idea?
Boss man, to be honest, I'm a smart person, but I'm not that smart. If I had that answer, to be honest, I think that person that comes up with that answer deserves a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not that smart.
That goes back to something I said in my live yesterday. If there was a blueprint to world peace, that shit would have happened already. You know what I'm saying? It's not one out there. It's trial and error. Trial and error. But we have to have confidence and faith in the people that's making these decisions for us, because we don't have the power to do so ourselves. And that's the biggest issue. A lot of people do not trust the government because they do a lot of underhanded bullshit. Let's think about the gun law that just passed in Buffalo. 3 weeks. To me, like I was talking to John Q, that shit to me was already damn near written. They was just waiting to sign it. And as soon as that goddamn Buffalo shooting happened, boom, that's our opportunity. Let's go. Now you have to be 21 years old now to carry to buy a gun, and I think they stopping the assault rifles now.
That's what they want to make it to be, is 21. Yeah. I actually was reading something on that earlier. They want to increase it to being 21.
From what I read, I think they already passed the damn law. And if that is true, which I'm pretty sure that's what I read, that is quick as hell, RJ. Think about it. That happened 3 weeks ago.
Well, look at what happened with, and I'm not trying to change the topic from anything, but look what happened with Ufadale. It was within a couple of hours, a senator was on the Senate floor demanding that a bill be written and passed that night.
Oh man. I was talking with John earlier today, and it's like the government knows that a lot of people eyes are open to the bullshit that we see.
Oh, absolutely.
And now that it's so many people, the more that start to wake up and see these things and voice, whether it's on social media or in the media, period, it's like, what are they going to do next? And that's when I feel like, I hate to use this term because that's going, I ain't gonna say it's out of range from happening, but it's gonna be like martial law. You don't have the fucking power to do shit. We don't care if your eyes are open and you know what the fuck we doing. What are you gonna do to stop me? Think about that.
Well, I'm trying not to bring politics into this, but it really, you got to talk about that. If you look at the persons that are against gun control, or not against gun control, my apologies, are pro gun control and making it more restrictive, as they say. One of the most common things they say is by hook or by crook, we're going to do this. We're going to remove guns from people's hands.
I like what you just said. That's what it's going to, too.
But then again, going back to what I said earlier, you have the cowboy mentality. It's been part of the United States, and it's constitutionally protected. It's going to be a disaster if they try to do so.
Yes, it is. It is. And that's why I don't feel like they're actually going to go that far by, removing our rights to bear arms. I just think they're going to, maybe, up the age limit, maybe make it a little stricter, or make it where they do a thorough background check. Because right now they check to make sure you don't have any violent criminal record. Being that they now keep involving mental health into why people do what they do, they might goddamn want to take your ass to therapy next, or check you, make sure you don't have any mental issues and shit like that now. But at the same time, like I always said, with all these crimes that's happening, some people may have mental issues, but I don't think every damn criminal who create these mass shootings and tragic situations don't have a mental issue. They just fucking evil. And I'm going to stick with that.
No, I agree 100%.
Let's take a look at the chat. D-Love say criminals don't obey laws, hence leaving the law abiding growing. Exactly. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't give a fuck about your law. They're a criminal. Don't you understand that? You're trying to take rights away because of criminals who's fucking up America. They are criminals. You're not gonna stop the criminals from getting guns. That's the point. You can't stop a criminal from breaking the law. That's what the fuck they do. Sorry, it's just scary, man.
Boss man, you don't have to apologize to me. One of the things I believe is that the Second Amendment of our Constitution is so important because it holds our government at bay from taking away any of the other amendments. If they take away the Second Amendment, what's to stop them from taking away the First, the Third, the Fourth, the Fifth?
Thank you.
The 14th, the whatever number it is. It doesn't matter what number it is. If they take the Second Amendment away, kiss the rest of them goodbye.
Damn right.
Literally, just grab a copy of the Constitution and kiss them goodbye and burn it, because that's what it is. They're gone.
Exactly.
The only thing that it's going back to where this country was started from, how it became a country, we got tired of the tyrannical government that was trying to impose itself on the people that lived here. They just had enough. They said enough is enough. We're our own country. We're not going to listen to this anymore.
Right. Just want to go back up to a comment that Ms. Harris put. She said, if they make the law strict, you will pay the price for having an illegal gun. That's true. And that brings me back to what I always thought about pedophiles. You know what I'm saying? If they consider that a sickness, you arrest someone for raping a young kid. You know what I'm saying? You prove it, you proved it. That's what they done. They done it several times throughout their life. They're pedophile. You putting them in jail, let's say you give them 10 years, 15 years, they get out. Guess what the fuck gonna happen again? They don't do the shit again because it's a sickness. So you think about making the laws strict or making the punishment a lot harsher for pedophilia. It's not gonna change shit. That's a sickness. Now, when we talking about guns, you make the law stricter. Say, for instance, I hate to say it, they take away gun rights. You get caught with a gun when you don't supposed to have one, you spend the rest of your life in jail. Just for being caught with one.
Takes example of one to prove that exactly.
So that will be a decision. As a criminal, you have to make that decision. But at the same time, for a criminal who thinks like me, like, you know what? I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison for carrying a gun, but I want to protect my family. What do? T.I. said it in the goddamn song. He said it in the song. You know what I'm saying? What I'm supposed to do, how I'm gonna protect my family. He's a fucking millionaire. And there are gonna be people that try you. There are gonna be people to find out where you live and gonna break in your fucking house. But you a felon and you can't carry a fucking gun. You better have, and you can't be around guns. So what's the purpose of fucking having security then? Can you explain that?
It's a loaded question. And it's one that no, it's a loaded question, but man, it's like, again, I go back to I'm a smart person. I'm confident that I'm a smart person, but I'm just not smart enough. You know, I hate to say it that way. It's a non-answer, but it's the truth.
And let me see what Tess email said. No one is mentioning recreational television and music that promotes things other than intellect and spirituality. Ban that stuff and give these children a chance to not know fear we know. And I understand where you're coming from, but let me just say this. Let me just say this. What have you heard in any hip hop, country, rock and roll? Oh, I can't speak because I never listen to rock and roll. I'm gonna speak on hip hop. That said, go shoot up a goddamn school. Let's go kill a whole bunch of kids. What you heard in a hip hop song that said, I'm going to shoot up damn Top Stove? No, hip hop didn't cause that. Hip hop didn't cause that. Now, do hip hop play a important part and black on black violence? Possibly, but that's a weak-minded individual if you ask me. Because I've been listening to hip hop all my damn life, and I know I'm just one person out of 300 million, 400 million people. But if you want to blame hip hop, you want to blame what's on TV, you want to blame gaming, again, it starts at home. Then if your kid you see don't have the mental capacity to understand what's reality versus fucking TV, then the parent at that point need to take that shit away from them. Because you can't blame it on media, you can't blame it on hip hop, you can't blame it on gaming,
social media.
People got to learn to distinguish between what's real and what's fucking entertainment. And the problem is a lot of people love that type of entertainment. You can't stop them from watching it. They're going to sneak and watch it. But I get where you coming from, Tess email, but that's not the issue, man. That's not the issue. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, no, and we touched on that on my live that we did. You can sit there and blame all these X factors, all these little other items, but the problem still is the person that possesses the weapon. You know, you can have your A reason, your B reason, your C reason, go all the way through the alphabet. But when you get down to the X factor, it's the person that handles the weapon. What's the old saying about you can put a handgun down on the table and it's not going to jump up and dance a jig and start firing itself.
Exactly. Exactly. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And Tess email, you said, why don't people want society of spirituality, engineers, and scientists? Well, I can answer that question. They silenced them. They silenced those type of people. Remember that.
They
Just think
don't
about
want
all
common
the
sense.
yeah, exactly. The government wants to control the narrative. The government wants to control what happens in the world, whether it's the United States or any country or continent overseas. They want to control that shit. So we as the common citizen can want to be led by, like you said, spirituality. People who has the greater good for America's people in mind at heart. But we don't control that shit. We don't control that shit. There's a lot of puppets that you don't even know is a puppet that's out here helping these motherfuckers control the narrative. And it could be somebody that you look up to, but you don't even fucking know that they don't got your best interest at heart. That's the fucking problem.
I'm going to make a suggestion to test email. There is actually a book that is titled the same model I'm about to mention, and the author of the book actually puts us in a very, very plain and very easy to understand story. Okay, but if you were to do a Google search on something called an Overton window, Overton window, and take a look at just take a look at the facts of what is happening, and put and line it up and put it into this Overton window, you'll realize what is happening, what everything is going to land up being. Okay. The book, like I said, if you were to just to Google the Overton window and I believe Wikipedia has it on there. If you're not sure what Wikipedia is explaining, the book will actually come into a very helpful understanding of what it is. It's a different story, but the same principles apply.
All right. Okay. Ms. Harris said maybe the law could be your gun can only be in your home. Okay. That's the point. But you're driving down Rodeo Drive in your nice BMW, and you stop at the light, and there's a goddamn jack boy right behind your ass. You got no gun. I get where you're coming from, Ms. Harris, but I like to think 10 steps ahead. Okay, that would make sense. But what about when you're out? The bottom line is criminals are going to carry their goddamn gun regardless what the fuck you say. And excuse my language. I'm not angry at nobody. I'm just passionate about this. So please don't take me all cussing and all the shit that I'm talking at you. It's just passion that's coming out about this. Because just like Tess email said earlier, it's kind of too late for us, but we can start raising these youngins and leading them in the right direction where they see the bigger picture of survival. Because right now, a lot of people, they done became so desensitized to the senseless killings. Oh, that's another person dead. Moving on in news. Nah, man, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that.
Definitely should not be like that. Don't get me wrong. D-Love makes a point of mentioning Sandy Hook. Nobody's going to make dismiss any of these school shootings, whether it be Columbine with its own students, whether it be Sandy Hook, which led to all the protocols of schools now about lockdowns, and then the event that happened in Uvalde. All of them are major tragedies. Nobody's ever going to deny that they are. what happened in Philadelphia, where we started out, or Boss Man started out tonight, this afternoon, with talking about what happened in Philadelphia. It's a major. Anytime you have a mass shooting, it's a major tragedy.
Yep.
But it's all a symptom of an epidemic problem. But the epidemic problem is not what the people that are in leadership want you to believe. They're putting agenda before the problem. And when you stop listening to them and stop listening to the agenda that that they're promoting, you become dangerous.
Yep. That's right.
And that's not what the government wants. They want Orwellian society. If you know, if you're familiar with Orwell or George Orwell, they want Orwellian society. And I'm not trying to be political, guys. I apologize.
No,
YouTube
man,
is not the
speak.
place for politics, but it's the truth.
Man, speak how you feel. Yeah, Lorraine said every household could have a shotgun without a license in the beginning. I mean, at the end of the day, you might as well. You might as well, because I'd rather be caught with one than that's what T.I. said. I'd rather be caught with one than without one. You know what I'm saying? Because if the police catch you, you go to jail. If a criminal catch you, you die. Let me bring up my little bro real quick. Welcome Job Biggs to the building. What's going on, fam?
Yo, shalom, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. What's good? What's good? I just got down to the bottom of the chat and see that you was in the building. What's good, homie?
Man, just wanted to come up. I heard something that intrigued me, that I thought I'd come up and speak on. I gotta agree with the brother that was speaking at the time. That there's agenda behind things, and I can agree with both of y'all on how they desensitizing deaths of today's day. We see it in so many different ways how they desensitizing it, as in celebrating death, and like actually putting up dead bodies in clubs, like, you know what I'm saying, having it as a funeral for people to display, it's just so many different ways that they display in death now that they're making it cool. And I have to explain it like this. My favorite saying is, we never had a war over here in the United States, so we don't know what war actually looked like as a civilian. But if you're in the military, you went overseas, you know what a war looked like. And I put that out there to be like this. Okay, with that being said, why do you think they're desensitizing us of seeing so many deaths? Because when you go overseas, they see death all the time. Buildings getting blown up, buildings get shot up, like you see explosive buildings getting blown up everywhere, you like mines in the grounds. You see people die all the time overseas. So why are they desensitizing us over here? We all have to put these things in together and like put A in with B, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't let it go over your head, like the other brother said. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things, they got an agenda behind it, and that's the reason why I can agree with the desensitizing of the killings, like, and why we just like why everybody just dying, like the rapper Trouble just died, and that was another rapper like back to back, and I'm like, damn, they is dropping like flies, like God, like really, like what the hell is going on? We just gonna allow this to happen? Like a lot of black people just dying. Like, we just gonna allow this to happen? But it's an agenda behind everything, man. And like I said, if you was ex-military and you went on any deployment, you know how it look overseas. Now look how it's starting to look over here in your hometown. I mean, I'm just saying, put one and two together. That's all I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying, and it's crazy because they're desensitizing us, and it's us who killing our own people. You know what I'm saying? And if you speak about war, that's a whole nother goddamn country that's attacking you. We can't even fucking learn to stop fucking killing each other over senseless shit. I understand if somebody, attack you or cause a threat towards you, you're gonna defend yourself. But a lot of these
Boss,
killings is senseless, bro.
hey boss, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to say this. I seen this movie, right? It was a skinhead movie. It was with the Nazis or whatnot. And the dude was talking because the young dude, he wanted to go do some ravish shit, and he was like, "Man, you're not about that. You don't know about these people." Like he was like, you really gonna shoot? You really gonna shoot a Negro? You really gonna shoot a Negro? They've been out here killing. They've been out here practicing on each other, shooting at each other every night, having shootouts every night. And you think these boys is gonna just, you know what I'm saying? No, you like basically he's saying like us killing each other, we've been practicing every that's basically like practice, like, you know what I'm saying? Like basically young black men that practice at a young age without even knowing, just shooting at each other, just like you said, killing each other. So I mean,
right.
you gotta look at it both ways, you know what I'm saying? Because they're thinking that same thing too. Like, if you gotta look at the bigger picture, like you said, look at the bigger picture. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's all I was trying to do, just look at the bigger picture of things. And I agree with the brother when he said that they pushing the agenda before actually the needs of the people. And it's all an agenda. It's a bigger picture.
Let me throw this out here. And I don't want to lose my right to bear arms, but in case a lot of you don't know, we sending money. What was it to Ukraine? Somewhere over there that we have no business sending money to when we have our own fucking issues we dealing with here. We got that type of money to send to another goddamn country. Let's think about this. And this is probably going to be something somebody can think of.
While also trying to walk backdoor in the motherland. They also trying to cause ruckus within Africa as well. I read across some articles on that as well. Like the United States, they fucking up in all kinds of corners. You know what I'm saying? They got private contractors over in Africa stirring up shit, basically getting the tribes to like it's like, you know what I'm saying, trying to get them to nitpick and everything. Like it's an agenda. That's all I gotta say. It's an agenda. It is an agenda, brother. Like it's an agenda, man. For real.
So just imagine if we could, if they want to remove some of these illegal firearms off the streets, and let's just stick with that. You got all this money to send across the country or send out of the country. Won't you go ahead and put it out there? Hey, if you find any illegal guns, and I know a lot of people don't want to be a snitch. I ain't telling you out to be a snitch, but it's either snitch or goddamn possibly lose your life for the same shit you decide not to snitch on. Put a price on it. You find an assault rifle, we gonna pay you 5 racks to bring it to us. You find any other type of gun, we gonna pay you 2 racks to bring it to us. You don't think people start turning in that shit for money? Think about it. You don't think people gonna start turning in guns for money? Especially people who broke.
They do.
Honest, really.
I bet you that price ain't high, RJ.
Oh, I can guarantee it's not high either, but I know that they do have amnesty days or amnesty programs. The big cities do. You can either go there and turn the weapon in of whatever kind, and they do have a sliding scale on how much the person will get money for. But part of the problem is, even though it's not registered, you still have to show proof of who you are turning it in. So if that weapon has a name on it, and I've explained what that means, I'm sure you both are familiar with what that means.
Oh yeah.
I come from being homeless, so I take no pride in that. But that's how my understanding of it is from. If a weapon has a name on it, it's simply if it's proven that is used in a crime. Now they have somebody's name of who to go after and question. Right. It's a catch-22 within that. They've got to take that off and say, look, this is pure amnesty. We don't care, but this is going to be destroyed. We are going to test it, but we're not going to come after you unless we can prove that you were involved in the crime. But if you're turning it in, we're not interested in who you are. But that's not the way it works right now.
Right. Now, of course, if someone legally owns the gun, let me welcome Professor Cupcake to the panel. I don't want to ignore her. Welcome, Nikki New. How's it going?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Well, go ahead and speak your piece. I'll come back to mine later.
Well, what I'm going to say is related to what you were just talking about. So I would say it was about 5 years ago, maybe. I spent the entire summer in Chicago, staying with a friend of mine. And one evening I was watching the news, and a local church had a gun buyback program. Surrender weapons, no questions asked, nothing at all. Just bring them in. And they were giving away $150 Target gift certificates. And when they scanned that room, and I mean, because they had folding tables everywhere, there were thousands of weapons in there. And I'm talking major types of weapons. And I was just looking, I mean, people were willing to surrender these guns for a $150 gift card to Target. Okay, that's how severe the situation was. And one of the myths that's kind of commonly put out in kind of like rap media, places like that. I heard one young rapper, she was a female, talking about this. Now, I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but they talk about there just being crates of guns in the alley for people to go and pick up. Well, two things regarding that. If you know the cops are coming, or if you get any kind of a tip-off that the cops are coming, you're getting rid of all of the weapons that you could possibly be pinned with. So that's one of the reasons why people would just put them wherever they're going to put them. But the Department of Justice, I think I saw these stats with the Department of Justice and the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division. They estimate that 40% of the illegal weapons in the city of Chicago and the surrounding areas in Illinois, what happens is that they come in from Indiana, because we understand that every state has their own individual gun laws, and that there are only a handful of federal binding gun laws. But state laws trump fed laws, in terms of the gun realm. So in the state of Indiana, you can go to a gun fair and basically purchase anything. No background check, anything like that. So you have people who basically are arms dealers that cross the border. I mean, Gary, Indiana, when you go and visit Chicago and you want to drive over, the border, like when I stayed in Chicago, right? I'm driving back to Michigan. It's only like an hour away from Chicago. So you just have people who go across the border. They purchase as many weapons as they possibly can, and they just kind of drive them back into the city. Okay. And it, in certain environments, it doesn't really matter what the cost of the gun is. I mean, it's not that big of a deal because you can't buy it in your own state. So they're just going to grab them all up. And so in a lot of ways, when people are kind of always talking about gun laws, I just feel like after these events happen, it's almost like the media, the general public, they have to go into a mode of hysteria, right? Because in the United States, everybody cares about weapons. And I mean, I understand that. But the questions are always, what do we do about this? How do we change this? How do we change laws or whatever? Very little ever changes. I mean, the estimates are in this country. This country is so armed. It is unbelievable. I think the estimates are like, I think I read once like 4 weapons for every citizen. That's wild. Like, I don't even think the government can even imagine trying to disarm our population. Like, so I think a lot of times people talk about things, and I understand because they fall on one side of the issue or the other.
Right.
But I just think there has to be a lot of conversation about it, and then we move on, and then we have the conversation again, and then we move on, and it's just really nothing happens. Not that I think we should have anything happen.
And just speaking of that conversation, the only people who are going to have this serious conversation who really care about the well-being of the citizens are the non-criminals. At the end of the day, the criminals don't give a fuck how we feel, and no matter what color you are, they don't give a damn because they don't have any morals or values in life to do what's right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still going to be that small percentage, even if the majority comes to a conclusion where we need to do this, whatever this is, we need to do this, and we all agree on it, it's still going to be criminals in the world. And that's what makes this so hard to sway either way on what decisions we make as far as gun laws. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. And, one of the things that people always talk about after these events happen is like, they just pin everything on mental health. And I'm like, this is a violence problem. Okay. This is a violence problem. This is an aggression problem. This is like a philosophically imbalanced type of a problem, because the statistics will show you that people with mental health issues are more likely to be injured by people with guns than do that themselves. Okay. They're more likely to be victims of crime than to be perpetrators of it themselves. And a lot of the things that the government does, or the errors they make, it really kind of never comes to the attention of people. Like in the state of Texas, I think it was the state of Texas, and there was one other adjoining state. The Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division had a database of registered felons. Okay, which, there's an enormous amount of felons in all the adjoining states, but they only had 2 states that they were supposed to keep track of. And so there were 1,500 different registered felons that were supposed to be flagged and not be able to purchase guns. And somehow this did not get properly entered into the system. And they found that like 1,300 of the people who were on these lists that were supposed to be flagged not to get guns were able to get them legally anyway. So if they can't even enter the data properly into their own computer system, I'm not worried about them coming and taking everybody's weapons, because they can't even get their shit straight to begin with.
All right. Pure Perfect TM said elimination of poverty and anxiety would reduce fund violence overnight. Remember, there are 4 Americans that have more money than every American combined. Greed is the issue. I'm pretty sure you're talking about the 13 families too. But how do you eliminate poverty? Do you, because when they raise, minimum wage, the cost of living is going to go up with it. And you got to understand the government, somebody said, is all about the mighty dollar. And that's what's the problem. That is the biggest problem in the world. Greed. If it's not benefiting, and I'm going to say this to one of them 13 family members, they not trying to hear that shit. Because why? Money rules the world. They say money is the root of all evil. No, it's the fucking people who got it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us, I think majority of us in this chat and on this live right now agree to some point of what we need to do to live maybe a longer life. You got sicknesses and all that type of stuff that can end your life earlier than what you expected. But when it comes to gun violence, what can you do when the government is really don't have none of our best interests in heart, whether you believe that or not? When you complain about this president, you complain about that president. Oh, we should have voted for them. Shit, they probably didn't give a shit about you either. So What do you do? That's the question. And like RJ said, hey, I feel like I'm smart too, but I ain't got an answer to that shit.
This one I'm going to go ahead and say I do have an answer to it.
Go ahead, bro.
It's not that it's important to have a financially stable household when having a family. The day and age going back to the 40s, 50s, 60s, what was the structure of the household?
You said what time frame you said?
40s, 50s, and 60s. What was the structure of a household?
Nikki New, you want to answer that?
A mother, a father, and kids under one roof.
Bingo.
But
Dad worked 2 and 3 jobs if he had to provide for the family. Mom was home with the children. Children went to school. And if at any time that the dad had said something with correcting the child or with anything like that, with financially being responsible for the home or something had to change, it was law. There was nobody second guessing them. And I'm not saying a woman's responsibility or part in a family structure is not important. The woman, the Bible clearly answers that when it says that a woman that works has virtue. Okay, so don't think I'm trying to be all misogynistic when I say this.
Go ahead, bro.
If we go back to the way that men were men in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and the household structure was what it was, and that it was a parental unit, mother and father, and children. Okay, so mom and dad being one cohesive group, not this separated business, not this we just don't like each other today, we're going to go ahead and divorce. If it was the way a family was meant to be, it would resolve 90% of the problem. Because if you look at what happened starting in the 1960s, it was 1966, and it was a college in Texas. I don't remember the college's name, but it was the first time there was a mass shooting reported. And since then, it has exponentially grown to be the epidemic problem that it is today.
Okay. Well, it's not in my nature to be contrarian just for the sake of being contrarian. The reason why I'm going to suggest that that's not an answer, even though that was the type of family that I was raised in, is because, how do I put it? You get what you get, right? I didn't get married to get divorced. I didn't get married to have a situation where I was thrust into trying to save my own ass, okay, because somebody decided they wanted to do something different. Women and men right now, especially in their youth, they're not seriously thinking about procreation. They're not. The vast majority of people are not being raised kind of in traditional religious environments. So in a lot of ways, that's a kind of leave it to beaver type architectural suggestion, and society's just not going to head in that direction. Do I think that we have all kinds of societal issues because of the nature of things? Yes, but a 5-year-old doesn't have a choice about the kind of environment they're being raised in. They can't say to their mother, why don't you go downtown and find yourself a husband, because we would be so much more safe and we would be so much more sound if we had that kind of a situation. So the feasibility, and I've had this happen like with my relatives who are all still married, and they've been together for 30 or 40 years or whatever. They look at me, or they look at some of the people who are in my family who have gotten divorced as if there's something special about them. And I'm just like, well, you come from the 60s, you married your high school sweetheart, and you were part of the population that just didn't end up getting divorced. I have a brother who's like a minister. He has the same kind of philosophy. I can't tell anybody at all how they're going to run their house. I can't tell anybody who they're going to marry, when they're going to get married. I can't run out here on the street and tell any 16-year-old, don't get pregnant, because you're more likely to end up in poverty than if you do anything else in this world. I have no control over anyone's house at all. I have control over mine, and that's it. And I can't tell anyone to have a particular way of living their life, because if I was going to tell people how I thought they should live their life, do I think it would make a lot of changes in the world? Yeah, but it's just not going to happen. And I'm just kind of realistic like that.
No, Cupcake or Professor Cupcake. I don't know which you prefer to go by. My point, though, is exactly what Ms. Harris said a few moments ago. Go back to morals. It's not that two people should or shouldn't be forced to or have to stay together. If they're oil and vinegar and they are just bad for each other, then absolutely they should separate from each other for the better of that, not only themselves, but if there is children involved, you have to do what's better for them as well. But you still have to be that cohesive parental unit. We don't see that nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm one of the people that errs on the side of ethics. You know what I mean? Like, what people's morals are, I really don't know. I can't preach to them or tell them what I think their morals should be. In this society, what I need you to have is stand-up ethics. I need you to understand that I'm your neighbor. Don't bother me. Don't plot against me. Leave me the hell alone. You know what I mean? If you and I have a beef, you do not have the right to physically aggress upon me. You do not have the right to load up a weapon and consider shooting me. You know what I mean? I don't have any idea how people live their life. My only chance to make it is that they have ethical standards that they live by. You know what I mean? And that's the closest you can get to somebody acknowledging that they live under the law. That's what I need. I need you to understand you live under the law.
Right.
But whatever else you do is what you do. Just follow the law.
Now, I want to just share something with y'all real quick. We'll jump back to this, but we're gonna leave Philly and take it back to Texas. I want y'all to listen to this guy who was actually in the school. He got a story to tell. Y'all check this out.
It was our typical morning, and we ate breakfast together. It was going to be a good day because it was going to be our day of awards, and some kids in my class that hadn't gotten an award, all year, we're going to get an award that day.
Reyes says the children were enjoying the end of the year celebration, and while some students went home after the ceremony, 11 from his class stayed behind. They were watching a movie when all of a sudden gunfire rang out.
The kids started asking out loud, Mr. Reyes, what is going on? And I said, I don't know what's going on, but let's go ahead and get under the table. Get under the table and act like you're asleep. As they were doing that, and I was gathering them under the table and told them to act like they were going to sleep, is about the time when I turned around and saw him standing there.
The gunman entering classroom 112 at 11:33 a.m., then making his way into 111 through a connecting door, opening fire. Reyes shot twice, a bullet hitting him in the arm and lung, and a separate one striking his back. The 17-year teaching veteran hitting the ground.
I told my kids to act like they're asleep, so I'm going to act like I'm asleep also. And I prayed and prayed that I would not hear none of my students talk.
Did you thought you were going to die?
Yes, ma'am.
Then, while the gunman was still in the classroom, Reyes hearing police nearby. According to law enforcement, 7 officers were in the building by 11:35 a.m. They took gunfire and retreated. Reyes says a child in the connecting classroom 112 called out for help.
One of the students from the next door classroom was saying, "Officer, we're in here. We're in here." And then, but they had already left. And then he got up from behind my desk, and he walked over there and he shot over there again.
The gunman going back into room 112 and firing more shots. At 11:58 a.m., children from other classrooms seen evacuating the school. At 12:03 p.m., a child from room 112 calling 911, telling dispatch where she was. By this point, 19 officers were inside the building, but no one went in. At 12:10, 12:13, and 12:16, more 911 calls.
Is there anybody inside of the building? Tyler is advising he is in the room full of victims at this moment.
You said you were praying. Do you remember what you were praying for? What you were saying in your prayers?
I prayed the Lord's Prayer. I prayed my Hail Mary.
Reyes says eventually he heard officers come back, telling the gunman through the door they want him to come out to talk, that they don't want to hurt anybody, but then silence again. More 911 calls, including from Reyes's classroom, but it isn't until 12:50 p.m., 1 hour and 17 minutes after the gunman entered the classrooms, that Border Patrol busts in, killing the shooter.
After that, it was just bullets everywhere. And then I just remember Border Patrol saying, get up, and I couldn't get up.
Did you feel abandoned in that moment by police, by the people who are supposed to protect you?
Absolutely. After everything, I get more angry because you have a bulletproof vest. I had nothing.
Now, I want to play that because of this discussion we're having, or we had a little bit earlier, about them possibly taking our gun rights away from us. Now, I want to tell y'all something that you might heard or you might not have heard. Me and RJ talked about this on his live. Do you know why they started shooting? I'm going to tell you why, just in case you didn't know. There was a kid under the desk, just like he said, playing dead. He was under the desk with another kid. The police outside the room yelled out, "If you need help, say you need help." These two kids that was under that table were perfectly fine. No shots. The kid did exactly what he was told to do and yelled out help. Guess what the gunman did? Shot him and killed him. When he turned his back, that's when they started shooting. They sacrificed that kid fucking life, man. And we supposed to depend on you motherfuckers? That's just like you on a 911 call and you whispering, they say, "You can yell." Bitch, no, I can't. There's a gunman right here in front of me. These are the people we supposed to depend on? Get the fuck out of here. Sorry. That bothers me. That's why the citizens don't trust the people that's supposed to be in leadership, because of stupid shit like that.
Well, the last city I lived in, I waited 3.5 hours on a 911 call. So I long ago realized that maybe you get lucky, maybe you don't.
It's sad. It's sad. There's no blueprint, people. It's not a blueprint. It's just to hear that, man, that shit broke my heart listening to him say this shit. He felt abandoned for the people that's supposed to protect you. And you heard they said the gunman shot, they retreated. The fuck you retreating for? You got on vests and all kind of shit. Yeah. Kill his ass.
Yeah. I've said it in your chat before that one of my best friends, her children were in Oxford High School the day of the shooting. Her daughter was in the building and heard all those shots. And her son, fortunately, was out on the athletic field because something was going on that he was out there for. And her daughter is very seriously affected by it. And one of the reasons why I have so much empathy for people whenever I see like an episode of gun violence, whether it's just, a shooting, a one-on-one, or it's anything like this. Is, because I mean, I'm a gun violence survivor, right?
Right.
I got lucky because the kid that I was dealing with, he was just too young to be emboldened to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? It was something I never expected to happen to me. Like I did never expect to be in that situation. And it was probably, I want to say it was at least like 2.5 years before I wouldn't be standing in the kitchen and just kind of flinch and like look behind me because I could feel like a gun back there or something. And I don't have that kind of an issue anymore. But these people are going to be severely traumatized.
Yes.
And they're going to have PTSD.
Yep.
And a lot of times people don't even realize that they have it, because when they survive a trauma like this, they always gauge things of like, how good am I doing? Like, am I not having nightmares anymore? Or am I not reliving the situation anymore? And to them, that's like this idea of like, okay, I'm getting better. And the more you get over those hurdles, the less you think you need psychological help. Okay. And so the less likely you are to get it over time. And people are so kind of busy with what's going on in the beginning that they don't get into it right away. And that's a huge mistake that I made. You know what I mean? But complex post-traumatic stress disorder it's just like so comprehensive. And if you don't get a hold of it, your whole life can just spiral out of control. So what
Absolutely.
we're looking at all of these mass shootings, and we're looking at cities that are picking up a case of complex post-traumatic stress disorder to different degrees all the time. You know what I mean? Like all the kids that are in this school, they're going to be affected to varying degrees. But this is turning into like, just a huge mental health crisis in terms of everybody having to watch this play out. And long ago, I just kind of, because when people say, what is the answer? What is this? I just realized that the world kind of governed by the unknown. And so I'm okay with understanding that certain issues are intractable. That you can only know what you know to possibly prevent something like this. But it's kind of like whenever a woman dies primarily, or, it can happen with men too, and it does. The first people that they ask about are the intimate partner, whether it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband. That's the first person that they have to talk to.
Right.
And when we get these missing children cases, the first people they have to question are their parents. And really, violence is like that intimate and that personal that's where we have to go in the very beginning. So it's not uncommon to me, or like it's not unfathomable to me, that people just don't have general empathy for people. Not a crowd of people. It's how mad am I? How upset am I? How disturbed am I?
Right.
Well,
Absolutely.
you can all get it today.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to welcome Double Rainbow to the panel. And I know I've been on here for 3 hours. Oh, she just fell off. Oh, damn. Everybody falling off. Are they kicking my people off the damn chat?
Oh, I have no idea. Wow. Professor Cupcake actually had a very excellent points in there. One thing that was standing out to me in that video is that, and I'll be quiet in a moment because I see double rainbows just pop back up. The teacher's sentiment or a feeling of abandonment and lost goes back to that video that I shared with you, the little clip video.
Yeah, what the teachers are holding guns.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
With the response of the students was that they felt safer.
I mean, what do you got to lose? What do you got to lose by giving a gun to a teacher?
Right. Exactly. This is what we had said on my live, or at least my point about it was, you have a guy come in that's already taking shots at the school. Thankfully, hadn't hit no kids at that point. Gain entry to the school. If also would take at that point one teacher to realize what was going on, position themselves so they're safe, and it would take one shot from them.
That's all. That's all. That is all. Agreed.
I'll be right back.
All right. Double Rainbow, welcome.
Thank you. Now that I came up here though, and I also came in late, like 40 minutes late into this discussion, are you discussing the Philly mass shooting that I just noticed at the bottom?
Yeah, we were touching on that earlier. We probably by the time you got in here, I don't think 40 minutes we were done, but after that we start discussing, potential ideas, which we don't have the fucking blueprint, but yeah.
Okay, well then I'm mistaken for coming up here because I thought we were just still discussing the Texas shooting.
No, that's what we're talking about now.
Oh, okay. That's why I came up here. Because I have a question, or I think we might want to discuss a factor that I heard from a lady I look up to in our community here. She pointed out, especially after the conversation last night we had in here, that the children in the school are brown and that the law enforcement there are white. I wonder if there's something to do with that as well.
Well,
if that's a factor, and I'm done talking, sorry.
I will say this, Double Rainbow, and this is something that was brought to my attention in a news article as well that I didn't even think of originally. A lot of those officers who are there to protect those kids don't even live in the damn neighborhood, don't live in the community. So the love that they should have portrayed by going in and handling that like their kids was in that classroom, they did not have. They couldn't connect. You know what I'm saying? Not saying they didn't have an ounce of love for them, but think about it. If your buddy got a kid that's in this school and you're an officer and you love your buddy, you're going to go in there and do what the fuck you got to do to protect them. So to answer your question, yeah, it probably does have something to do with the skin color. Because if this, and I don't know if it was a low income neighborhood or anything like that, so I can't speak on that. But I can say those officers did not live in a neighborhood and could not even begin to understand why those damn parents were so emotional, why everybody was panicking, because their fucking kids was in that school, not yours. They tried to arrest one woman who pulled up like, fuck this, I'm going in there to get my kid. They put the lady in handcuffs, and then I guess somebody from the school said that's one of our kids' mother. They took the handcuffs off of this lady. Guess what she did? Ran her ass in the school where the shooter was, and got her goddamn kids from out of there. No vest, no gun, no nothing. Who got more balls than the
pure courage?
A woman had more balls than the goddamn people that's supposed to protect and serve us, who got guns, vests, armor, all this shit. Now people who say, well, why y'all jumping down their throat? That's why. That's why. They pay you to protect us. You knew what your job and all what came with it. We don't want to hear that shit like, we didn't want to get shot. Them kids didn't either. Come on with that bullshit, man. Go ahead.
And you would think that I'm assuming that they are parents themselves. So, it makes me really sad if that's a factor, the color of their skin. I'm into a lot of true crime cases, and I see it on a daily basis. And well, this is terrorism, domestic, and it's a crime. And it just hurts my heart that the favoritism is wrong and it's evil. And you would think that as parents themselves, they wouldn't fit. You know what I'm saying? You hear my point.
Yeah, I get you. I know you're going there with it.
Okay, I just wanted to ask that, and then I'm gonna drop down there. Thank you for.
Before you do double rainbows, I understand what you're saying about the demographics, but I want to hear my response on this. The only statistic that should have mattered that day is that the police station was 1 minute car travel from the school. And with the fact that he crashed his vehicle into a ditch, like he did, either by purpose or by accident, is that the police should have been able to be in a position with at least one officer being at the station to prevent this whole thing from happening.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of the demographics of racial identity, the police do own some responsibility in this, because they did not respond in a way that was correct to this.
It's an agenda, bro.
Go ahead. Hold on. I'm gonna let Josh say something. Go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry, Double Rainbow. Give me 1 second.
It's an agenda, bro. Like. Okay, check this. It's kind of agreeing on what the lady said, because I have to know. I have to look in back of these things, because I have a Hispanic son myself. His mother is on the lighter side of the Hispanics, but I have to know a little bit about that, and because I'm so close to the border over here by Mexico, and how they are now. With the lighter Hispanics, like it's way different. I live in a town where it's like darker Hispanics, where like if they in the sun like me, they get a tan just like me. One came through my job the other night, and I was like, "Damn, man, where you been working at? You darker than me." Yeah, man. What kind of, you know what I'm saying? Talk to me and shit. But anyways, I'm saying it. I say that to say this, and I'm glad Boss said that. Boss notified that those officers that was a part of that police force was not a part of that community as well. Now, with that being said, knowing how far those little towns around here in Texas, yes, the police station is not far from anywhere, especially if you got other police officers patrolling too. And you got to look at the agenda. Right when all this stuff started happening, they started saying about, oh, we don't have level 4 armor plates that can do ballistic. They got new shit and everything. I just got to talking to my police chief not too long ago, like literally hours ago. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like y'all got new cars and shit. You know what I'm saying? And he got up out my face real fast because I know what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is like it's an agenda, bro. We don't know what that town needed for that time. And I put it like this. I always say Hispanics are the next in line. They've been feeding the Hispanics peanuts. They've been feeding them like they've been treating them like elephants. The elephant in the room, the big elephant in the room. They've been feeding them like peanuts. And an elephant can't survive off peanuts. It's just a treat for them. But you can't feed an elephant peanuts and think it's just gonna survive off that. But what I'm saying is, when you feeding the elephant in the room peanuts, you know what I'm saying, and keep throwing that out there, you gotta look at the play and the agenda that's being set up. Like they started screaming for all kinds of funding and all kinds of, oh, we need this, we need that. You know, it's all a play, and it's sad that they had to sacrifice their own people just to get what they needed in the community. And I mean, I don't want to just flat out just say everything because that shit is dangerous at the time.
You know, you got all kinds of entities working with the government, within the government, doing all types of shit. But I'm saying it's a play. It's sad that they had to sacrifice their own just to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it really wasn't their own. They didn't have to. It wasn't their kids. Whoever kids was at that school, they went in and got them. But after that shit, it was letting them kids sit up there like, fuck, come on, man, where y'all was sitting around there for an hour, a whole fucking hour, and some change.
Yep.
Hearing gunshots go off, and you talk about you got, I don't care if I got level 3 plates, like you know what I'm saying, and you ain't run up in there and do anything, like you ain't got enough training to apprehend a guy with one fucking apprehend one fucking guy, man.
I agree.
He didn't have the training just to take one guy, bro. Like, come on, man. And it's a whole fucking police task force, and y'all can't take one guy, bro.
The job
Come
is
on,
to
like
preserve
that's
life.
that like you gotta make sense to make sense, bro. Like, come on, man. And that just don't make sense, bro. Like, it don't.
It doesn't.
That's exactly what I was making the point of. Bert saying that the police station was 1 minute car travel away. It should never have gotten to the point that it did.
Because if you think about it, by the time they decided to shoot him, look what they did to shoot him. They sacrificed the kid's life. Now we have to understand that this man, he was strapped. Okay, it is what it is. You know, you're gonna do your best not to kill no kid, which
It's
I
your
don't think
job.
he would.
It's your job to protect.
Right,
It's
and
your
the
job
thing
to
is,
protect the community. You get paid for it. You swore an oath. Like, who fucks if you get a bullet to the ass or the face, the chest, or what? This is what you paid for. This is your time to shine. Police officers, they like to do dumb shit when it ain't their time to shine. But when it's their time to shine, they up in the car eating donuts and shit. Or want to pull guns out on black unarmed men and fucking beat on unarmed women. And man, come on, bro, this shit is sickening, bro. And it's
it
crazy.
is. And like I was saying, they had to sacrifice one kid's life. Fuck all that. It shouldn't have got to that point. The kids were laying on the floor. This guy was standing up. You can't take a kill shot or just shoot in his vicinity. You're not gonna hit a fucking kid. They're laying on the floor. I know I wasn't there to see the whole picture, and I'm speaking on what I visioned this room looking like. There's a bunch of fucking kids hiding, or at this point, some dead. You got to do something to stop this shooting. The only thing you can do is shoot his ass. Fuck it. Go forward. Go forward. You so scared, close your eyes and fucking shoot, you coward. Shit making me mad, bro. Y'all check this out, man.
We found a miracle at University Hospital in San Antonio.
All my grandkids, and I don't like for them to be suffering,
Jimmy and Tina Olivares are Kendall Olivares' grandparents.
Very brave little girl. She's tough.
Kendall survived the deadliest school shooting in Texas history.
Just glad that we're still happy with us, I don't know what I would do without her.
This brave 9-year-old girl is everything that's inspiring. Kendall, who loves dancing, Mexican bingo, and TikTok videos, remembers the moment the gunman stormed into her classroom.
Her seeing that, it's going to stay with her, forever, how she saw her teacher get shot. I mean, it just happened right in front of her.
Shot twice, once in the left shoulder and in her back, Kendall is alive and able to tell her parents what happened inside Robb Elementary. They are not able to speak publicly, but her grandparents are.
Well, I'm just happy, that they care for people. A lot of people care for her.
Kendall's story is not easy to listen to, but it's important to hear and understand the terror unleashed in her classroom. Prepare yourself to learn the horror she went through for more than an hour in her 4th grade class.
A lot of innocent kids, got hurt, passed away.
Kendall told her mother the gunman yelled out, "Y'all are done." She says she was the first student shot, and then teacher Irma Garcia was shot and landed on top of her. One by one, Kendall told her mother the gunman shot her friends. She heard each of them fall to the floor. Kendall's cousin is a classmate. He pulled Miss Garcia's body off of Kendall. Both Kendall and her cousin survived. The Olivares family is overcome with gratitude.
Thank you, God, for giving another chance.
After 5 surgeries in 10 days, Kendall faces a long road to recovery, both physically and mentally. Mrs. Olivares says Kendall's parents are faced with their own recovery.
He just cries, but has not really like let it all out. I mean, he's scared, he's very scared.
Kendall doesn't want to go back to Uvalde. She can still hear the gunshots, the shooter walking down the hallway with his gun, and her mother says she can't sleep.
We will get through this. For her, we will.
The family says support and prayers from around the world has carried them. Cynthia Izaguirre, KENS 5.
Man, it takes for you to hear the story. And I'm not speaking on you guys. I'm speaking on these cowards who's supposed to protect and serve. And I really don't know if they even still have feelings after seeing a story like that. How can that not touch you, man? How can that not make you want to go hard for the community, period? Especially for the elderly and the kids. It shouldn't have been a second thought in your damn mind to say, I got to protect these kids because they're our future. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I think like that.
No,
But
boss man, you're right on.
I want to give everybody an opportunity, to get their final thoughts. I've been on for almost 3 hours and 30 minutes, and I got to do a show later on. So I'm gonna start with Double Rainbow, since she's a woman. Drop your final words before we get up out of here.
You know what? This is my family here, and I finally feel like I'm a family member in this community. So I want to share something that compelled me to come up there and express what I did. I've never shared with you guys that my Latino stepfather raised me. My brother was born in El Paso, my half brother. And so he's half Latino, half white. When he lived in DC, where I'm from, he was Latino and treated with racism. And the same thing happened to him when he lived in El Paso. He was treated as a white with racism. But more importantly, I want to share that the reason this hurts my heart, and I mentioned that about the racism, and it is because I was raised Latino, despite the fact that I'm white. His grandparents treated me like their own. My stepfather wanted to adopt me. We went there every summer. If that makes any sense, I was raised as a Latino, even though I'm white. And in addition to that, I lived in Puerto Rico. I did share that in 2nd grade as the only white girl on that island, and it wasn't easy. So I had a flavor and a taste of what it's like to be the minority. And it really bothers me with the law enforcement favoritism, as well as the media. It's also about money with these crimes. I'm probably not even making any sense.
No,
It
you
just
good.
hurts my heart that there's favoritism for only the white, blue-eyed blonde cases. And this has got to stop. And in response to RJ, I just want to quickly say that a lot of criminals know that when it's shift change, I think they change their shifts around 3 or whatever. It's different in all places. But it sounds like when there was only one officer there, maybe they were changing shifts or it was lunchtime. I don't know, but that's a discussion for another time. And I didn't realize you were here that long. Thanks for letting me come up here. And just this saddens my heart. And I really pray that it stops. I guess I just wanted you to get to know me a little better since this is my family. Thank you.
We appreciate your double rainbow. You know I know your story. But most definitely we appreciate you for coming up here and telling your story and giving your opinion on what we're dealing with in America today. Appreciate you. We're going to move on over to my brother, Jizzy Ja. Go ahead and speak your piece, and then we'll get to my brother, RJ. Drop your jewels, homie.
Yo. I appreciate the young lady who came up and spoke, man, bro. Because you verified what I was trying to say earlier, and I hope that helps people get a better view. A lot of people like to always say, "Oh, it ain't about race," which you're not wrong, you're not totally right. It's always about that. Always about something, and just like somebody had said before, we ain't the only ones that fight amongst each other. We're not the only ones that hate amongst each other. The lighter Mexicans hate on the darker Mexicans because some of them did come from Spain when those white folks started infiltrating everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's hate from all sides. And like I said, I have a son that's Hispanic. His mother is not white at all. She's full Hispanic. They speak straight Spanish. I'm talking about like they don't get no more real because I know it's kind of hard to even find the Hispanics that still speak Spanish. A lot of them don't even know Spanish. But I can say like his mother is a true Hispanic, but she looks just like a white girl. You can't I can't tell no difference. But the thing what I'm trying to say is with me being on both sides of the line, and having foot on both sides of that line, shouting that line, I'm knowing how and what they go through. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad the sister came up and broke her piece because she further on, she said she was raised by Hispanic, but she's a white girl. You get what I'm saying? So they all automatically looked at her different. You know what I'm saying? No matter. And I've run across a couple of them that was raised by Hispanic. In the times that they go through. So I'm glad that the young lady came up and spoke her piece and let it be known that hey, yes, it's not always about race, but it is at the same time. Those little kids they were more on the Indian side. They were more on the darker face side. Those officers they was the ones getting fed the peanuts. You know what I'm saying? They like some of them, like a lot of Mexicans over here in Texas, the peanuts for them is oil filled big trucks, and they get fed peanuts. So just like they go anywhere else, they in Africa right now, giving out war money to everybody, Ukraine, African, and everybody. You gotta feed your enemy. You gotta feed your homeboys. It's like if you're in a gang or a clique. If you don't feed your gang or your clique, they're gonna turn against you. They're gonna try to eat you up. They're gonna eat you alive, right? So it's just like that. When the United States go places, they gotta feed their thugs. They gotta feed their gangsters. They gotta feed them because they're gonna turn against them. They're gonna eat them. So that's the best way I can explain it. And they just feeding their gang. They feeding their gangsters. So whenever it's time to go, they can have some reinforcement. Hey, appreciate it, boss. Thank you. I probably talk too much. They probably gonna come get me, but I'm gonna check in with you.
Nah, you good, bro. I appreciate you, man. You always welcome, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
No doubt, no doubt. Appreciate you. That was the brother Job Biggs. We appreciate you for sliding up here and speaking your piece, man. That's what it's about. Everybody's opinions matters. So we moving on and go to my brother RJ. Drop your jewels, homie.
Well, I want to first thank everybody for that they come up and join us. And I want to thank Bossman for allowing me to come up and speak myself. It takes a lot of courage for somebody that's never done this to jump up on a panel and speak. But the video you had just shown, Bossman, one of the questions I have that raised, and I'm not trying to spawn any sort of there's a cover up or conspiracy or anything, but why would the parents and the daughter not be allowed to speak? I can understand the daughter from the aspect of she needs time to heal. She needs time to cope with what happened. But what is the reason that they're not allowing the daughter and the parents to speak to the press?
That question arises in my brain too. But I was watching another news article that to me explains it. It was one person in this school. I believe it was a teacher. It could have been a matter of fact, I think it was a teacher. They told her she could not say anything, and they was threatening her. Matter of fact, I think it was the mother who ran in the school. They threatened her because she had some, I guess, some outstanding warrants and things like that.
She was on probation.
Yes, her. You remember what they did to her? They threatened her then not to tell her story. I'm pretty sure they did a lot like that. But go ahead.
Which is only going to spawn its own controversy, its own cover-up story, and make everybody question what really did happen, because we've not gotten this correct story from the police yet.
Not yet.
We've not gotten the full story, and that's a problem.
Yep.
I'm just going to leave everybody with that thought on that one.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, RJ, for coming up, man. You know you're always welcome.
Likewise.
You know I'm already subscribed. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to RJ. If you want to, you can drop your link. Matter of fact, I need to make you blue, my brother.
Sure. Once you do so, before you end, I'll be more than happy to drop my link.
I'm going to try to find you in the chat right now to make you blue.
Embarrassing. I'll talk right now. So
yeah, do that so I can make you blue. You can drop your link in the chat. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to his channel, man.
There.
He stay on top of these particular situations, and he thinks outside of the box and he thinks inside the goddamn box. But at the same time, he respect anybody's opinion just like I do. We don't have to agree. We just trying to find a resolution to this shit, man.
Exactly.
Let me find you. There you go.
Yeah, I just said hello. Make it really simple. But yeah, bear with me just a second here while I put my link in there. But yeah, it's there's something. I'm just repeating myself here for a second, but I apologize. There is something suspicious when the people are being threatened not to speak.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. It's nothing else you can think. You say you don't. It opens up the idea of the conspiracy theorists to start speaking. Well, shit, what else they gonna do? Because why would you do some shit like that? You don't fucking threaten a fucking civilian who wanted to go in there and save their fucking kid and then want to tell the fucking story. Why would you do that? That makes sense.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to drop the link for the last live we did that you had joined me on.
Sure.
Titled Grand Jury. So just bear with me a second here. Getting that link right now.
All right.
It goes. We do go into some more details, and this is actually on Buffalo. So anybody that wants to take a look at it, but we do focus more on Buffalo and what happened that day of coming out of Buffalo than anything else in that. But it's a really good live that I appreciate. Bossman as well as John Q participating with me, even though they did so at the last minute.
Yep, it's all good. Anytime I can be a part of something that's gonna help us, I'm there.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you again, my brother, for coming over and hanging out with me and speaking your truth and speaking your opinion along with everybody else who tuned in. And I did see some comments that I didn't get a chance to touch on, like Miss Harris saying everything should be free. God damn it, I agree with you, Miss Harris. I will never forget that comment. I just didn't get the opportunity to speak on it. But, you know, that's what it is. You know, we got all types of ideas and all types of thoughts on what we feel can help us live in peace until we leave this earth. Minimize the senseless killings. But like I said earlier, we lack power to control or make changes in this world. When you got a system that was created by white supremacy that's money hungry, it's nothing else. It's nothing else. It's all about power, money and power. As long as you control the money, everything else follows. But in the case right now, and the topic that we discussed today, you know, the shootings, the mass shootings that we're seeing from Philly to Texas to Buffalo to Tulsa to Kansas City. This shit is not a coincidence, my good people. One thing John Q brought to my attention, one thing that Neutral brought to my attention, it's a bigger picture that we don't know at the time that all this senseless bullshit is happening, because this is what you call deflection. They're putting this in front of your face for you to see all this while they're doing something else behind the closed doors. It's like they sending money outside this country when we dealing with this type of shit within our country. You feel me? And that's why I always say stay vigilant. And I don't mean go out there and just do dumb shit. Don't let nobody harm you. Hug your kids. Love your kids. If you don't do it, who else gonna do it? I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight or today. I'm usually live at nighttime, so forgive me for that. But I will be the Triple C's, I believe at 8 o'clock. If y'all want to come over there and tune in, it would be greatly appreciated. I want to thank Lorraine, RJ, my brother Ja, Double Rainbow, and everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Y'all take care. See y'all on the next time. Y'all be easy. Y'all know what I got to go out with. Know what I got to go out with. Because if he was around right now, you know he'll be making noise. Free GMJ, man. I'm going.
And new tonight, an armed militia marches outside the suspect's home.
Well protected, well protected.
You don't win wars by marching and protesting. You win wars by fighting back.
I love y'all.
This is the part where I get to say I told you so. When everybody else said, you know, we were crazy, we was over the top, that we was making stuff up, but a lot of people don't realize that also was the moment that galvanized the start of our movement. It was from Brunswick that the NFAC blew up, and then the next time you saw us was at Stone Mountain. A lot of people act like we popped up at Stone Mountain, and we was in Brunswick first. I'm up in the building. It was the Brunswick issue first.
Some of these people be talking, and they ain't really about that action. We faced with a whole bunch of problems, while the blacks wanna add on baggage. It get cold in the world, motherfucker better get your jacket. If I happen to pull out my ratchet, better hope a motherfucker know magic. Body just wrapped in plastic, body just placed in caskets. If you're black, then your life just has it. Why the fuck our life ain't tragic? GMJ taught a nigga not to be so passive, so I won't be a weak little bastard. And the truth, I'ma seek that faster. No fucking around, we have just entered the chapter. We've been lost, not found. Now we got a little bit of backup. Cause we coming with numbers and my people starting to stack up. You don't wanna see a nigga act up. Hey Jay, tell them where we at, bro. After the rain, we gotta change. We cannot do it the same. Better say his name, GMJ. But you gon' win this race. It'll be a whole brand new day. Goddamn it, we gon' win this case. Give a damn what your people say. Everybody yelling out GMJ, 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 GMJ. We don't give a damn what your people say. Everybody yelling out GMJ, GMJ. This the way we rockin', bitches on the poppin'. We will not let you stop it. Let's go. The ball done dropped, nigga call them cops. I told you that we called them ups. It's about that time, stop that line, and we don't really need no clock.
Locked down, under pressure, with the mask on.
But we back now or never. Motherfuckers better get the ass on. Ain't no sad song, and we won't leave the past alone. Cause the past it done made it strong. Cause the mind never made it home. And they wouldn't leave George alone. Don't be playing me wrong, cause I keep me a grown. Better move it along. I don't mind at all if you want a brawl. I can make a call to my big dog. I'm telling you, dog, this ain't shit talk. Wanna cross the line, you get picked off. See the man in black, it ain't shit soft. Put the man on mute, but man, we gon' fix y'all. Not that we would stop, but man, we got pissed off. Days got changed, it's time that we lift off. Old 25 the day that we win, y'all. We don't give a damn about your agenda. We know you got troops, so go ahead and send them. After the rain, we gotta change. We cannot do it the same. Better say his name, GMJ. But you gon' win this race. It'll be a whole brand new day. Goddamn it, we gon' win this case. Give a damn what your people say. Everybody yelling out GMJ, 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 GMJ. We don't give a damn what your people say. Everybody yelling out GMJ, GMJ. And this the way we rockin'. Bitches on the poppin'. We will not let you stop it. Let's go.
They did what they did to him because they thought they could get away with it because they actually believe. They believe. So when you tell somebody you're racist, you're not just accusing them of something that this is a person who holds a certain frame of mind. They believe they're right. People need to understand that, and this is my approach to systemic racism. That's why it's called systemic. It means that there's a system. It's not just one or two people. Yeah, you got those three people, and they got locked up. Okay, fine. But there's a system. In other words, look at the system that had to work for this not to be heard. This was not the first African-American male or female that has been shot, killed because of some racial misperception. We know that. And the rest is history.